Welcome to March 26th, 1941, a Wednesday. I'm Henry Chop, your host, and we have some great radio entertainment to share with you tonight. I say that every night because, you know what, old-time radio in general is great radio entertainment, right? And I am proud to be able to share this stuff with you. I'll tell you what we're going to listen to in just a little bit. If you enjoy the content on this channel, not only subscribe, but please donate to its upkeep. Because of the vintage old-time radio, films, and music that we feature, this channel does not qualify for YouTube monetization. Help motivate us to keep posting this wonderful content and seeking out more. We'd like to think that this channel is more interesting than any other nostalgia channel of a similar type. Help us keep going by donating. In the description section of this video, you will find a secure link to PayPal. Any little bit helps. Thank you for your support. If you love old-time radio, film, and music, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click on the bell icon to get notifications as to when a new upload will premiere. If you are interested in World War II as much as I am, check out our other channel, the World War II newspaper channel. Expand the description section to this video and you will see a link that will take you there. Now, I'd suggest listening to the latest upload to decide if it's your thing. Over there, you will hear the Chicago Tribune read to you for between 90 minutes to 2 hours. You will get a much more detailed look about what it was like to actually live through World War II than I can give you just by sharing radio broadcasts. You will not only hear detailed news of the big battles and historical events, you will hear trivial facts about the war. You will hear news from the United States home front from the early stages of U.S. mobilization and war protests to Pearl Harbor and the ramping up of the war machine to the final victories and reconversion. You will hear every facet of American life change forever. Hey, how about if you guys type out in the comments section where you're listening from? I'm just west of Chicago, about 25 miles west of Chicago, and I'm just curious where you guys are all from. How far does this video reach? Who's the farthest away? Hello, west of Chicago. Hello from west of Chicago. All right, let me tell you what we're going to listen to tonight. We're going to, of course, it's Wednesday, so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have The Lone Ranger and the Adventures of Superman and Mandrake the Magician. The Lone Ranger episode we are going to listen to tonight is A Horse Changes Brands. And The Lone Ranger aired on the Mutual Network at 4:30 in the afternoon. These were afternoon programs, by the way, the Lone Ranger, Superman, and Mandrake. And then we're going to move into the primetime hours with the Cavalcade of America over NBC Red at 6:30 in the evening and Down to the Sea. And then we're going to have the Texaco Star Theater. Now, we have two of these tonight, one from the East Coast and one from the West Coast. Some of you younger listeners and those of you new to old-time radio are probably wondering, why was there an East Coast and a West Coast broadcast? Well, back then, for the most part, NBC, there were a few exceptions, Information Please being one of them. I'll explain that in a second. But the Texaco Star... NBC would not allow their stations to air recordings of programs, or the network to air recordings of programs. You had to do them live. And because the Texaco Star Theater aired at 9 o'clock at night in New York City, it would have aired at 6 o'clock at night, I think. Probably 6 o'clock at night. Trying to do the math in my head. I'm just a regular guy, right? But it would have aired too early in the evening for prime time on the West Coast, so they would do two shows that night. And it's kind of neat to hear the subtle differences. Information Please. Now, the reason Information Please was recorded and played on the West Coast was because they did not want to ask a new set of questions, so they just simply recorded the program and played it back over their feed for the West Coast once again, which was very unusual for NBC at that time. They were actually the strictest network with this policy. They lost Bing Crosby because of this. Bing Crosby in I think it was the 1945-46 season, jumped from NBC to ABC because Bing wanted to pre-record his programs rather than do 2 a night, and ABC would allow him to do that. By the way, the American Broadcasting Company was later on in this year, 1941, NBC would have to split up their networks, the red and the blue. It was considered a monopoly, and NBC Blue eventually became the American Broadcasting Company, ABC. But sandwiched in between the two Texaco Star Theaters, this week we have an Eddie Cantor program, and the IRS tries to give Eddie a refund. So I think yesterday I said an audit. No, it was a refund. That is a big difference, isn't it? Many of us would rather have a refund than an audit. I think all of us would rather have a refund than an audit. So that is what we have going on tonight. You know what? Without any further ado, I see the dial is glowing on his old tube radio. That's our time machine. Let's give this stuff a listen.
Fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. Faithful Indian companion Tonto, the masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Outlaws and renegades, rustlers and road agents learned to fear his strength and courage. The stories of his daring and resourcefulness were told around 1,000 campfires, and Hi-Yo Silver came to be the battle cry of justice on the frontier. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! There's going to be trouble! We've got to hurry! Hi-Yo Silver, away!
Taking advantage of the blackness of the night, two horsemen rode slowly toward the Lazy Y Corral. The bunkhouse, some distance beyond the corral, was dark and silent.
There'll be the tickets to pay if Ma Hasty was to wake up and see us stealing one of our horses. Slip out of your saddle and follow me. I got my rope. Which one should I lasso? First, we get inside the corral. Doggone gate. Creaks like a wailing catamount. Which horse? I gotta pick out one that can't be mistook. Yeah. I want to fix Tex handling so that everybody'll be certain sure he stole this horse. How about that black? You couldn't tell him from any other, except by the foot. Here's the one. That sorrel horse with a blaze on his forehead. Yeah. Spread your rope. Start him serving, Sheriff. I'll rope the sorrel when he comes by. Get up there. Now, get him. Right. Sheriff, snap the rope around the timber. I got it. He's roped. I'll hold him taut. Quick, in the saddle, Jubal. Here's your rope. I'll head that horse for Tex Hanlon's outfit. I'll close the gate behind you. Time to vamoose, Sheriff. All fixed, Jubal. We didn't wake a living soul either. Get traveling.
Huh? You ain't going with me to put this horse in with Hanlon's herd?
Of course I ain't. I'm going to rouse up Ma Hasty and the lazy Y cowhands. I'm going to tell the horse thief has been at their corral.
Oh, I savvy, Sheriff. You roust him out and tell him it was Hanlon took the sorrel horse, huh?
I won't have to say it was Hanlon, but I'll see to it they follow your trail. And that trail's going to lead straight to Tex Hanlon. Now start traveling.
By the time you and Ma Hasty and the boys bust in on Hanlon, I'll have the horse planted and be gone. Sure is slick, Sheriff. Get up there.
Yeah, slick as a whistle. Yeah, I'll get Tex Hanlon hanged for horse stealing, and all his horses will belong to me as sheriff of the county. Well, I reckon Jubal's got enough of a head start. I better rouse up the lazy Y. Come on.
Hey! Oh, Hasty, you hombres, turn out! Horse thief, turn out! Oh, Hasty!
Who's that?
Oh, Hasty, it's me, the sheriff.
Waking folks up in the middle of the night. You're plumb fortunate you didn't get your head tore off by a shotgun.
Grab your horses, you men. Saddle up. There's a horse thief loose.
What's that? A horse thief in my corral?
I seen him. I don't know who he was, but he lit out that way. Get up a posse.
Sheriff, you're correct. There ain't no ornery two-legged hombre can steal more Hasty's horses. Come on, you lazy Y riders. Get your guns and saddle up. We're going after that thieving night rider.
Tonto, you went ahead to take a look at that ranch layout. What's the trouble?
Plenty trouble, Kimasabi. Me creep up close. Hear plenty talk. Them horse thieves.
Horse thieves. Here, Silver. What's the rest of it, Tonto?
Lazy Y horse taken from corral. Sheriff, another feller, them bad men.
The sheriff? A horse thief?
That right. Him send other feller with horse. Make it look like man named Hanlon steal horse.
I see. All right, Tonto. Looks like you and I...
What matter?
Horses along the gully. Listen. Tonto, you heard? There's no time to waste. What you said is true. Tex Hanlon may soon be swinging at the end of a rope for a horse he didn't steal.
That make trouble for him.
Tonto, we've got to get to Hanlon's place before that posse. We'll head along this side of the ridge so we can't be seen. Come on, Silver.
Hit him up, Scout.
Hail, Silver, away!
Hanlon! Tex Hanlon!
All right, mister. I got a gun pointing right at you and the engine pod. Speak your piece.
You hear us come, huh?
I heard some noise before, so I got out of the bunk. That's how come I was ready for you. What do you want here?
Hanlon, we've come to warn you. There's a posse of lazy Y riders coming here. They think you're a horse thief.
Horse thief? Well, you're local.
Where's your herd of horses?
Right yonder, mister, in the corral.
Have you looked at it lately?
Huh?
That noise you heard before must have been when the real horse thief left a lazy Y horse in your corral.
I don't believe it.
Then you'd better take a look. That posse will be here pronto.
All right, mister, I'll take a look, see? It sure sounds like a local yarn to me. There's a corral. Even in the moon, it don't look like the percent of them roam. All I gotta do is... What in...
Hanlon, is that your branding iron?
No, it ain't mine. Hey, let me get it. Hey, it's still hot.
That's a running iron, Hanlon. Kind used by rustlers to change one brand into another.
It ain't mine. Mister, maybe you ain't local after all.
That horse there.
Huh?
The sorrel horse with the blaze on his forehead, Tonto?
That one me see.
Well, I'll be... Mister, that ain't one of my string of horses.
That's a lazy Y horse, Hanlon.
Some ornery coyote brung him here. Changed the brand of mine and left him in my bunch.
Well, what are you going to do? That posse's coming.
I ain't no horse thief. Let him come.
If they find that horse, Hanlon, you go to jail.
Maybe you get hanged.
Injun, I ain't hanging for no horse I didn't steal. And furthermore, obliged as I am to you, mister, I ain't running out neither.
Don't be a fool, Hanlon. You haven't a chance.
I'm staying.
Him stubborn like bull.
All right, Hanlon. If you won't get that horse out of here, then Tonto and I will.
Huh?
Open the corral, Tonto. Let's get that sorrel and...
It's too late. They come.
The posse from the Lazy Y.
We tried to help you. Now there isn't time for anything.
Quick, we get way.
Hanlon, are you staying?
Mister, I am. I ain't no horse thief, and nobody's making me vamoose.
Very well. Tonto, head for the hills.
You come too.
No, Kimasabi, I'm staying here.
You stay. They put you in jail too.
I'm staying.
Mister, I can handle this myself.
You're talking big, Hanlon. You haven't a chance of handling it by yourself. Do as I say, Tonto. Head for the hills. Adios.
Tonto, do what you say. Adios. Get him up, Scout.
All right, Hanlon. Better start thinking what to say. Here comes the posse.
Hanlon's outfit. I told you so, Law.
There's Hanlon next to the corral.
Rain up, gents.
Well, Sheriff, what's the ruckus? Alan, who's this gent with you? I never seen him before.
Sheriff, that's my horse. The sorrel was ablaze. And look here, a branding iron.
Yeah. Couple of you boys rope that horse and bring him over so we can see the brand.
All right.
Tex, you and your friend stand right still, or this gun in my hand might take an ocean to go off, savvy?
Oh, I didn't rustle that horse.
Ain't nothing low in a horse thief, Tex Handlin', nothing.
Mister, you ain't saying much.
I prefer to watch, Sheriff.
Yeah? Well, watch while Ma Hasty takes a look at the brand on this here sorrel horse.
Keep your gun on him, Sheriff.
Every gun in this posse's pointing at him, Ma. Well?
Sheriff, I demand that you arrest Tex Handlin for horse stealing. That's my horse, and the brand's been changed less than an hour ago.
You can't arrest me. I tell you, I
That's
ain't
enough,
enough.
Hanlon. You, mister.
Talking to me?
We want to see what you look like under that hat brim. Take off that hat.
Well, listen, this gent ain't got nothing to do with his.
Never mind, Hanlon. I'll take my hat off.
Masked man.
Gosh, mister, I didn't know you was masked.
Oh, you didn't know. Don't try to fool us, Hanlon. Well, Ma, I reckon this sort of puts the clincher on it. Any gent that travels with a masked man can't be anything but a horse stealer.
Sheriff, you better put them both in jail. Handlin and the masked fellow, too.
Now, you're going to stay in that calaboose till comes time to try you in court. And that day ain't far off, neither.
Sheriff,
Well, mister,
I'm just wondering, Sheriff, what about Hanlon's string of horses?
what about them?
What happens to those horses?
All of them's most likely stolen, like that lazy Y horse.
That's a doggone.
Sheriff, you haven't answered me.
All right, mister, if you want to know so all fired bad, I take care of those horses.
You?
Sure. Property of the prisoner becomes the property of the county. And being as I'm the duly elected officer of this here county, I reckon I get 'em. And the same goes for that white horse of yours, too, mister.
Well, that ornery polecat.
Hanlon, you should have taken my advice.
It's too late for that now, mister. I can't figure why you didn't cut and run, though.
I wanted to get a closer look at the sheriff.
He can't touch them horses.
If you hang, there's no one to stop him. I'd like to see him touch Silver, though. He'd have a real fight on his hands. Hanlon, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah?
There's something mighty familiar about that sheriff. I think I've seen him before. What's his name?
Drucker.
How long has he been here?
Oh, he sloped into town about 3 years ago, mister.
I see. Was he by any chance riding a gray mare with a bullet clipped right here?
Hey, how did you know? That's the horse. He got rid of it plenty fast, though.
Yes, I imagine he did.
Mister, what's up? Is it something about the sheriff?
His name is not Drucker.
Well, what in tarnation is his name?
Never mind that now, Hanlon. But when the time comes, you'll find out. And the sheriff won't like it. Not one bit.
Went off as slick as a whistle, Sheriff. And that masked hombre being there didn't hurt none either.
He gives me the shivers, Jubal.
Behind bars, ain't he?
He's got a pair of eyes that look right through you. I don't like it.
Sheriff, you don't think maybe he knows you before you come here?
Shut up about that.
But all I
Shut
said
up.
was...
How about trying to ride that white horse again?
Oh, no, not me. That horse is pure dynamite. I ain't trying again.
And sell him unless he's broke.
Then you do it.
Well, we'll let it go for a while. First thing is to get them two hanged, and we can take our own good... Well, Injun, what are you staring at?
That plenty good horse.
Ram loose, Injun.
On your way, Redskin.
Me go pronto. Me go.
More doggone Injuns roaming around this territory.
Them try ride Silver. That plenty funny. Tonight, when darkness come, me go to jail. Tell friends.
Hanlon, listen.
It's black as pitch, mister. Sounds like somebody trying to...
Come for friend.
Tonto. Tonto, I've been waiting for you. I knew you'd understand when I sent you away.
Tonto understand. Me got key for jail here.
Tonto, did you get a good look at the sheriff?
Him another fella try to ride Silver. Silver not let him.
Listen, Kimasabi. The sheriff is going to try to bring us to trial as fast as possible. Did you recognize the sheriff, Tonto?
Carson Gap. 3 year ago.
I've got to get to Carson Gap, Tonto. Oh, where's Silver?
Silver him in back. Get door open there.
We're getting out.
No, Hanlon, you're staying. And Tonto will stay in my place.
The Indian is
Staying in my place, yes. Unless I get to Carson Gap and back before the trial, it may be too late.
You go, not me. Silver make journey fast.
Somebody's coming. I've got to hurry. Keep your back to the cell door, Tonto. That'll give me a head start. I'll be back.
Indian, what's he talking about? How can you give him a head start by keeping your back to him?
Somebody come. You not make noise.
Oh, it's you gents I heard talking, huh? Figured maybe you could... Hey, what the key, right in the lock. I'll give that deputy a talking to for that. As long as you're both still inside, I guess there's nothing to worry about, though. Key right in the lock, and you didn't even know it.
Indian, I get what you mean. The sheriff seen us in the dark and figured you was the masked man.
You listen. Friend on horse now.
I sure hope he gets back from Carson Gap before the trial, whatever he's going after. That's a long ride, Injun. A long ride.
Hail, Silver, away!
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. When Tex Hanlon was accused of horse stealing, the Lone Ranger allowed himself to be jailed with the Wrangler. But that night, Tonto took his place. The masked man started for Carson Gap. The following morning, the sheriff walked toward the cell, took one look, and...
What in tarnation?
You letting us out, Sheriff?
How'd that Injun get in there?
Me come last night.
Where's the masked man?
Reckon you ought to know, Sheriff.
Injun, answer me. Where's that masked man?
Him go away last night. Me take him place.
All right, suit yourself, Injun. You stay in there anyways for helping the prisoner to escape.
I reckon he put one over on you, Sheriff.
You do your laughing now, Hanlon, while you can. I'll see that you get the end of a rope mighty soon. Jubal! Jubal, where are you?
Something gone wrong, Sheriff?
Plenty. That masked army's vamoosed. Huh? Skedaddle, run out. You recollect that Injun we seen yesterday while we was trying to break the horses?
Yeah?
Well, he's in the jail instead of the masked man.
Well, I'll be... You mean...
When I looked in last night, I seen two shadows in the dark. I figured certain it was Hanlon and the masked man. And all the time it was the Injun and Hanlon.
The masked gent's gone?
Ain't you got it through your thick head yet? Long gone. Jubal, I found that key in the lock. Was that any of your doing?
Me?
Answer me, you ornery coyote.
Let go. It weren't me, I swear it. Must have been the Injun that took the key off the hook.
Oh, yeah, I reckon so.
Why in thunder didn't Hanlon and the Injun run out, too? It don't make sense. Unless...
Unless what?
Sheriff, maybe that masked hombre knows.
Huh?
Maybe he knows about 3 years ago at Carson Gap.
You mean it's a trap?
Well, what else? The Injun and Hanlon stay here. The masked man goes off to bring proof of what you done back in Carson Gap.
Maybe you're right. Maybe...
What are you staring out the door for, Sheriff?
Look, that white horse, it ain't there no more.
The masked man lit out. That proves it.
Last night.
I reckon you better get that trial started as soon as possible, Sheriff. I hope you don't have to make tracks out of town.
Yeah, Jubal. We got to do some thinking. That masked fella must be getting close to Carson's Gap right now.
Good horse, Silver. We're nearing Carson's Gap. Up this rise. That's it. Up. Hold up, Silver. We stop here. There it is. 5 miles ahead of us, old fella. He covered the ground faster than ever before. Carson's Gap. The man I want is down there, Silver. As soon as I put on this disguise, we're riding into town. There's the man we want, Silver. We're right up beside him. Radigan. Marshal Radigan.
How can it be, mister?
I've ridden a long way to get you, Marshal.
Don't think I know you, mister.
Come in here for a moment, between the buildings.
All right, mister, speak your piece.
Marshal, you're looking for a man named Benzer.
Eh?
3 years ago, he rode out of here in a hurry, riding a gray with a twisted right ear. You've been looking for him ever since.
Mister, what do you know about Benzer?
You still want that man?
When Benzer vamoosed, he was wanted for everything from stage robbery to killing. And we still want him.
I know where he is, but now he uses the name of Drucker.
Drucker or Benzer, it's all the same. Where does this...
Meet me on the bluff outside of town just as soon as you can saddle your horse, Marshal. I'll take you to him.
The bluff outside of town. Mister, I don't know you from Adam. For all I know, this might be an ambush, but... Well, a lawman's used to taking chances. Give me a half hour. I'll see you on the bluff.
Hello!
Here's the meeting spot. Where is that gent?
You made fast time, Marshal.
Quit it.
I was waiting behind a clump of cottonwoods.
Yeah, what's the idea? Masked.
Don't slap leather, Marshal.
Your gun's out already. Mister, you got the fastest draw I ever seen. But you wasn't masked in Carson's Gap.
I wore a disguise. Marshal, the sooner we start after Benzer, the better.
Wait a second. That horse you got. The white horse and a man wearing a mask. The mask might be anybody, but I can judge horseflesh. There ain't but one horse in all the West fits that one. You were the Lone Ranger. Mister, holster them guns. I'm riding with you. No need for questions.
Good. It's a long trip. Come on, Silver.
Get up there.
The life of an innocent man depends on us, Marshal. Faster.
Lead the way, mister. I'm right with you.
Come on, Silver! Hello, Silver! Away!
What I want to say to you folks is we ought to have that trial as soon as we can. We get all the evidence we need again, Hanlon.
What's the hurry, Sheriff? I got work to do on my ranch. I can't tend court today.
And you got to do it tomorrow.
Sure. The sooner a horse thief gets his hanging, the better it is all around.
So long as it's according to the law.
Ma, today we'll let pass. But Hanlon's got to be tried tomorrow morning. I'm sheriff, and I'm saying so.
Tomorrow morning. Well, reckon I can make it, Sheriff. Is that agreeable with you, gents? All settled then. Now I'm ambling.
Tomorrow morning early now. All you get here. We got to have a jury, all proper.
Don't none of you forget.
Well, that's that, Jubal.
Sheriff, are you loco? Tomorrow morning. Masked gent has a mighty fast horse.
The way to Carson's Gap and back by tomorrow? Mighty nigh impossible. Don't forget that horse has to travel both ways.
Yeah, but still, Sheriff.
Besides, Jubal, I got it figured we can win either way. Even if he does get here.
You have?
You get your horse you're riding.
Yeah?
I want you to keep watch, Jubal. If you get out on the rise just outside of town, you can see the trail from Carson's Gap for miles. As soon as you see that white horse, you head back as fast as your horse can travel.
He'll be here?
Yeah, getting ready to hold the trial. I'll see that Hanlon and the Indian both get took care of.
Without a trial?
Just get out there and watch. I know what I'm doing.
Mister, I can't keep up with you.
Keep riding, Marshal. We'll keep on through the night and reach the town soon after sunrise.
My horse can't keep up with Silver. There ain't no horse can do it.
Marshal, I'm masked. Your authority is needed to arrest Benzer. Now keep up with me as long as you can. If I have to leave you behind, I'll do it. But only if I have to.
Get up, horse. Hound the dust.
Come on, Silver. Dawn isn't far away. And as the Lone Ranger and the Marshal raced along, Jubal waited near the town. The sky in the east turned from gray to red. The sun rose above the horizon and sent its light across the vast stretches of the prairie. And then...
That's them. That's the white horse. He's still miles away, but I gotta warn the sheriff. Get up. Get up. Get up.
In the town, Jubal raced to the store, which was to serve as a courtroom. He whispered a few words in the sheriff's ear. The sheriff nodded and turned to Ma Hasty and the others.
You folks get ready for the trial. I'm going over to the calaboose and get the prisoner.
We'll be waiting, Sheriff.
Jubal. Yeah, you stay here. If the masked army and the gent with him show up, start slinging lead, savvy? You drop them both.
Both? Sheriff, I can do for the masked man, but the other gent, maybe he's a lawman.
Do like I tell you. There ain't nobody going to prevent you from shooting a fella with a mask. As for the other one, you can always say he stopped the bullet accidental-like. You can say he got in your range of fire.
I get you.
I'm heading for the calaboose. Hanlon and the Indian won't never come to trial. I told you my scheme.
It's a slick one for sure. I'll stay right here.
Be sure you shoot first.
Don't worry. I'll pull trigger as soon as I see that mask.
Come on, boy.
Hey, who's them two riders?
Say, that looks like the masked man.
Mr. Look out, the fellow's reaching for his gun.
I'll get the mask.
Leave your gun on the ground.
My hand.
You're not hurt.
Don't nobody draw. We got you covered.
Mister, there ain't nobody going to draw like Jubal done. No man can stand against lightning.
None of you trust me. But you're going to when you hear the man who came with me.
They're outlaws, both of them. Reach for your guns. Give them what for.
Jubal, one more word
What's
from
it
you.
all about? Who is other gent?
His name is Radigan. He's the United States Marshal.
United States Marshal?
Yes, a masked man brung me from Carson's Gap. I come here to arrest your sheriff. Drucker isn't his real name. He's a killer named Benzer. He's been wanted for 3 years. Here's the papers all about it.
Marshal. Marshal, this clears things up considerable. No wonder the sheriff was in such an all-fired hurry to get Hanlon hanged.
The sheriff and Jubal stole that horse. They made Hanlon take the blame so the sheriff could get Hanlon's horses and make money on them.
You got me, masked man. But I ain't no killer. I just done like Benzer said.
Better save that for the trial, you sneaking coyote.
Where's the sheriff now?
He went to the jailhouse to fetch a prisoner.
Mister, if I tell you something, will you go easy on me?
It depends.
You keep looking down the street, Jubal. What is it? Out with it.
Benzer, he's aiming to kill Hanlon and the Injun.
He can't do that.
Talk fast, Jubal. How?
He's letting them both out, Savvy. When he gets them out of the jailhouse, he'll have a gun on him. He's going to shoot them in the back and claim they tried to escape.
What?
Oh, Silver! They're arresting you! Follow me! Hurry, Silver, hurry!
All right, Hanlon. Injun, you're going on trial. Walk ahead of me, slow. Open that door, Hanlon. It's a long walk to the court, but don't try nothing.
I know all about you, Sheriff. The Injun told me. You and Jubal done that horse stealing.
Well, I reckon then I got to take care of both of you. Just keep walking.
We not try to get away.
I got a gun, Injun. You and Hanlon ain't got guns. I'm going to take care of both of you right now.
Oh, you thieving pole, can't
You won't even know when it comes, neither. Why don't you start running? Start running.
Injun, he's going to shoot. We got to run first.
No, we not run. Him want us run.
All right, then, have it your own way. Run or not, as you please. But it looked like you started to. I'm going to shoot you right this...
Get down, both of you!
The masked man!
Get his gun, Cantor. He won't get away.
You come past, mister. You saved our hides. This rattlesnake was going to shoot us in the back.
He'll do no more shooting, Hanlon. Stand still, Sheriff.
The masked man got the sheriff. He got him.
Hanlon, you all right? You ain't hurt?
The masked man saved us.
Marshal, I'll turn this criminal over to you. He's your prisoner.
Benzie, you're under arrest. You're coming back to Carson's Gap to stand trial.
Now, wait a minute.
You don't have to say nothing. Jubal said plenty.
Yeah. And if you want to know who just shot the gun from your hand, the marshal just told us. The masked man you tried to beat is the Lone Ranger. And, mister, there ain't nobody can beat the Lone Ranger.
Hello, Silver, away!
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
Stay tuned next for the adventures of Superman.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman. Up in the sky! Look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman! And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, star reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle against crime and injustice. Matters have taken a turn for the worse aboard the Clara M., last of the clipper ships, bound on a cruise round the world with Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen aboard. In our last episode, we heard how the crew, led by a sailor named Limey, mutinied and took the ship over. One of the crew, however, Scotty McTavish, refused to join the others and was bound to his bunk. Jimmy, unable to sleep and in search of someone to talk to, came upon Scotty and released him. Together they made their way to the radio room, hoping to send a message of distress to the San Jose, a South American liner now steaming toward the Clara M to take off the badly injured captain. Scotty and Jimmy began to send a call of distress, and then... But wait. Listen.
You're doing it, Mr. McTavish. You're doing it fine.
Aye, laddie. I am.
What?
Limey.
I've a gun, McTavish, and I know how to use it. Take your hand off that radio, Kay. Take it off, I says. You're a dead man. So you was trying to send a message to the San Jose, eh?
Aye, trying, but not succeeding, I'm thinking.
The better for you. I swear, McTavish, the life of him what stands in me way is not worth tuppence. Now, you'll both come along with me.
Where are you taking us, Limey?
On deck. We've Barnaby and the radio man all tied up. There's no doubt your precious Mr. Kent as well by this time. Now, come on, get moving.
Limey, I appeal to you again. You cannot do this thing, man.
I'm a doing of it, ain't I?
But the captain, Limey. Don't you know, man, the captain's a very sick man. Oh, you'd no kill the man by not letting him go aboard the San Jose.
It can't be done, and you know it. Now, listen, every man jack of this crew, even you, Scotty, is wanted by the maritime authorities for one reason or another. Some of us has stole, some of us has committed murder,
Gosh.
and our pictures have been pasted up in every dock office throughout the world. What happens, I ask you, when the San Jose comes alongside, eh? We recognize, that's what. Good and iron. But we ain't going to be recognized, see? We're going to take this here ship and we're going to sail it to freedom, see?
I see.
And let me warn you... Yeah, now, up this companionway to the deck. Come on.
Limey, man, one request.
Get along, you know.
You'll no be hard on the lad, will you? 'Twas me that made him come with me to the radio room, and it was me that forced him to...
That isn't so, Mr. McTavish.
Now, laddie, quiet.
I'm grateful to you for trying to cover me, but, well, I can't let you do it. Limey, I was just as anxious to send that message of distress as Mr. McTavish was.
Oh?
I don't care whether you know it or not.
Slippy little beggar, ain't you? You like to run off at the mouth, don't you? Well, we may find a way of changing your mind, my lad. You'll sing a different tune before I'm done with you.
Looks like the entire crew is on deck, eh? I see Mr. Barnaby and the radio man, but I didn't see our Mr. Kent.
Huh? Blimey, that's peculiar. Irish!
Huh?
Where's Clark Kent?
Well, I'm thinking the man's a leprechaun, Limey. Will of the wisp, so to speak.
Speak plain, speak plain.
Really, he wasn't in his cabin, Limey. He's nowhere else to be found. Some of the lads are looking for him now.
He can't escape, Mr. McTavish.
I heard that. Don't you think for one moment he'd escaped us? He must be aboard the Clara M somewhere, and we'll find him, never fear.
Well, perhaps we will, but we've got to discover where he may be at.
Not in this cabin, eh? Well, then, we'll just see. Come on, lads, follow me.
Not in my cabin is right, Limey. I'm up here in the crow's nest, if you want to know, as Superman. Lucky for me, I'd gone to Captain Hawkins' cabin to see how he was getting on, and was returning to my own cabin when I saw the beginning of this mutiny. Well, there's nothing to worry about now, Limey. Everyone's on deck, and off in the distance I can see the smoke from the San Jose. She'll be alongside in an hour or two. Wait a minute. We've changed our course, haven't we? Well, we'll just have to change back again. Instead of sailing away from the San Jose, Mr. Helmsman, I'll see to it that you sail this ship toward her. Down! Down! You there! You at the wheel!
Oh, Yumpin Yemeni, I've been seeing things.
You won't be able to see anything if you don't do as I tell you. Hard over on that wheel, south by east, and quick about it.
Look, mister, I don't know where you come from or who you are, but you don't give me orders. I show you that.
No, I'll show you.
Oh, my arm. You must break it. Oh.
Hard over on that wheel.
Yeah, sure, like what you say.
And keep her there.
Oh, you think so, hey, mister? Well, me, I don't think so. The others, they see you now. Maybe you can twist my arm, but by golly, you cannot twist the arm of all them other prowlers.
Yes, they've seen me, all right. And here they come, with Limey at their head. Something tells me Superman will have to hand them a little surprise.
What's coming off here? What's coming off? Who are you? Where'd you come from?
It's Superman. Mr. Barnaby, McTavish, look. Now do you believe me?
Why, the great horn fool, he looks like a Superman, but...
Superman, is he? We'll see about that. You in that fancy costume. I've got a gun, see?
Oh?
Now get away from that man at the wheel or I'll let you have it.
Fire away, Limey.
Think I won't, eh? Well, I'll change your mind.
We the bullets won't hurt him.
Alex and halibut. I've never seen nothing like it.
Bulletproof vest, that's what he's wearing. Well, you won't last long when the lads get through with you. Come on, lads, jump him. And don't take it too easy with him. All
right, step up, gentlemen, step up. That takes care of you. Oh, sorry, old man. Hit me with a belaying pin, would you? After all you've done is set the pin. No, don't run off like that. Wait, here's something for you. Come on, boys, don't hold back. Step up, one and all. Limey, why are you hanging in the background? Come on, Limey, let's have a little fun together. Come on.
Stay away from me or I'll shoot.
And what good will your bullets do?
I'll show you.
You see, Limey? Now I'll show you what I can do without bullets. That finishes Limey. Now the rest of you men get below. Mr. Barnaby, this is your crew, or it was. Take charge here and try to do a better job of it.
Aye, sir.
And now,
Sir?
I'm off.
Superman, wait.
Up, and away!
He's gone.
Aye, lad. But a good thing for us he was nearby when this mutiny took place. So that's the fellow you call Superman, is it?
You bet, Mr. Barnaby. Now do you believe me?
Where'd he come from?
Nobody knows. He just appears when someone's in trouble.
Oh, I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it with my own two eyes.
A lot of strange things have been happening on this ship. But this ain't the time to stand around wondering about it. Come on, Scotty. Help me get some of these men up on their feet.
Aye, sir.
Come on.
Oh, Jimmy, lad, you'd better be trundling off to your bed.
Oh, okay. But first I've got to find Mr. Kent and tell him what happened. Good night, Mr. Barnaby. Good night, Scotty. See you in the morning.
Good night.
An hour later, with the Clara M once more peacefully riding a soft swell, and the lookout perched from the crow's nest watching the approaching steamer, the San Jose, Teak Barnaby limps down a companionway and pauses at the door of Clark Kent's cabin.
Oh, hello, Barnaby.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Kent?
Yes, Barnaby. Sit down.
Thank you, sir. I guess you want to talk to me about the mutiny that happened a few hours ago.
Yes. Jimmy told me all about it. I understand the San Jose has been sighted and should be alongside in an hour to take off Captain Hawkins. I'm going to have her escort us into Caracas.
Now, why would you be doing that, Mr. Kent?
So that we'll be sure of reaching land safely. We can't take a chance with a rebellious crew, Barnaby. It's my intention, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, to have those men arrested.
Well, now, Mr. Kent, ordinarily I'd agree with you. But, under the circumstances, I don't see how I can.
What do you mean, under the circumstances?
Well, for one thing, this wasn't actually no mutiny at all. The men were scared, Mr. Kent. Scared because they claimed they heard the whistler aboard ship. That's all it was.
Whatever their reason, Barnaby, they attempted to take this ship, and that's mutiny.
Aye, Mr. Kent, but, well, I'm a seafaring man, and you're not, and maybe I understand these things better than you. Now, this crew of ours, they're fine men, Mr. Kent, fine men. It's just that this whistler business, hearing that so-called spirit whistling in the night, got on their nerves. I guess you'd say as how they didn't know what was going on for a time there. All they knew was they wanted to turn the ship for home and get back to land as quick as possible.
Well, they still want to get back, don't they?
No, sir, Mr. Kent, they don't. I've talked to them. I've taken the liberty of telling them that I'm their new master.
I see.
Now, all I'm asking is this. Keep on with this here around-the-world cruise. Forget the men ever tried to take the ship. I promise you, I'll keep them in hand from now on.
I don't know, Barnaby.
Now, believe me, sir, I know what I'm talking about. If the San Jose escorts us into Caracas, there'll be an investigation. You and young Jimmy and all the rest of us will spend the next 6 months in Caracas waiting for this case to come to trial. All because the lads was a little foolhardy.
Well, all right, Barnaby. I'll do as you suggest.
Thank you, sir. I'll be getting up on deck to make ready for the San Jose. She'll be coming alongside, too.
Right. I'm not the fool you think I am, Barnaby. You're after something yourself. I wonder what it is. Well, one way of finding out is to let you think you're having things your own way. When the right time comes, I can always step in as Superman.
Clark Kent is right, of course. Teak Barnaby, who, as you remember, tried to buy the Clara M from Editor White, is certainly after something aboard the old clipper ship. But what can it be? Have you any idea? Be sure to hear the next episode for further developments of our mysterious adventure with Superman.
Tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky, look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Stay tuned next for Mandrake the Magician.
Master.
Yes, Lothar.
All dark. Lothar, I can see. Where are you, Master?
Still tied down on this stretcher, Lothar. Where you last saw me. Remember?
Lothar, remember now. But head still buzzing like million bees inside. Can't remember what happened to Lothar.
Captain X struck you down with a gun butt when you tried to help Nada. Don't you remember that?
Oh, remember now. Why can't Lothar move, Master?
Because your wrists are wired together. And Captain X tied your legs together before he left.
What's that, Master?
What, Lothar?
Sounds like clock ticking in dark.
It is.
Why clock tick? Not here before.
You may as well know. It's ticking away the few moments we have to live, Lothar. When it finishes striking 9, we are blown to pieces.
Where bomb?
On the floor. In the center of the room.
We alone?
No. No, Dorfman's on the floor beside me. Captain X shot him before he left. In the back.
Him dead?
Dead or fainted from pain.
What happened, Miss Nada?
The ticking of that clock was driving her crazy, Lothar. I put her to sleep. Hypnotic sleep. No reason for her to die 1,000 deaths waiting for one.
No, Master.
I can do the same for you, Lothar. Want me to put you to sleep? You'll never know when the blow falls.
No, Master.
Why not? There's nothing you can do.
Lothar, wait and die with Master. Lothar like know him with Master when in come.
Oh, funny. I knew you'd say that.
Know what time is now, Master?
Must be very close to 9 o'clock. Brace yourself and start to pray when the clock strikes. The end will come very suddenly on the last stroke, Lothar.
Lothar, remember that him clubbed 2 fists together and hit Alex Jefferson.
Yes. You laid him out cold. And Captain X left him behind to die, too. If he had no further use for Jefferson.
Where Jefferson now?
In the next room.
Little Tommy there, too?
Yes, Tommy's there, tied to the bed. And so exhausted he slept through this whole thing. Now his brother is still bound and gagged in the cellar. Well, at least they don't know that 9 o'clock is their finish.
Oh, feel sorry about Miss Nada. Feel sorry about little Tommy. Him brave boy.
The thought of them is almost driving me crazy, Lothar. Stop talking. Let me concentrate on these ropes again.
Yes, Master.
Lothar.
Yes, Master?
Did you groan just then?
No, Master.
Then it must have come from the next room. Listen. It did. Must be Alex Jefferson. Captain X thought you had broken his neck, Lothar, and didn't bother to tie him up. I wonder...
Jefferson not help us, Master.
Oh, no. He'd only save his own skin if he could. Unless I could trick him.
What's happened? Where am I? Why is this so dark? Where's the light switch?
Gosh, can't you let him fall asleep? What's all the racket about?
Tommy awake.
Quiet, Lothar. I've got an idea. It's only a slim chance, but any chance is worth taking now.
That you, Tommy?
Sure, it's Tommy. Gosh, I'm still all tied up. I must have been dreaming. I thought I was sitting down to a table with my dog Trix, and there was a great big juicy steak between us. Gosh, were we hungry. Say, Trix won't take anything to eat from nobody but me. She'll starve to death. I gotta get out of here. Cut me loose, will you?
Stop jabbering. I'm trying to find a light switch so I can get my bearings. Blast it. I fell over a chair.
Lothar?
Yes, Master.
When those lights go on in the next room, Jefferson won't be able to see that we are tied up in here in the dark. I'm going to try a bluff. If we still have a couple of minutes before that clock strikes 9, we may all live to beat Captain X yet. It's our last hope, at any rate.
Oh, I found the doorway. Switch must be here somewhere. Here it is. Lights blind you when you've been in the dark. I can scarcely see you.
I can see you all right. Guess you got lost in your gang, Mr. Jefferson.
Oh, shut up. I'm going in the next room and switch on the light there and see what happens.
Stand still, Jefferson.
Who's that?
Mandrake. You make an excellent target standing there in the light. And you can't see me here in the dark.
Go ahead. Shoot him, Master.
No, Mandrake. Don't shoot. I haven't a gun, and my hands are up.
Have you got a knife, Jefferson?
A small penknife, yes.
All right. Cut Tommy loose and be quick about it.
All right. Anything you
Make
say.
it snappy. I haven't any time to waste.
Guess this will teach you not to monkey with Mr. Mandrake.
There, he's loose.
And Tommy, your knife.
Here it is, Tommy.
Okay. Want me to tie him up, Mr. Mandrake?
No. Come here, Tommy. Hurry.
Yes, sir. I can't see where you are in the dark.
Right here. Tied to this stretcher, Tommy.
Gosh, I...
Cut me loose with Jefferson's knife. Hurry.
Stretcher.
Say, what is this, a trick?
Stay back. Master, shoot.
It is a trick. You're both tied up in there.
Quick, Tommy, quick.
Back. Lothar, shoot.
You haven't a gun. You bluffed me into releasing Tommy so he could cut you loose. Where's the blasted light switch?
Right beside the door, Jefferson.
I found it.
Just a second too late, Jefferson. As you can see, I'm quite free. Thanks to Tommy and your knife.
I was a fool to let you bluff me.
A fool in the bungler is what Captain X said you were.
Where's Captain X?
Gone. In his submarine and left you here to die with us, Jefferson.
Die?
Look, Master. Hands the clock point to 1 minute of 9.
Jefferson, pick up that radio bomb.
No. Why should I?
Because Tommy isn't strong enough to handle it, and my legs are too numb from being tied up so long to reach the edge of the bluff and toss it into the sea before it explodes.
Well, my legs are strong enough to take me away from here, and I'm not taking any bomb with me. Get out of my way, Mandrake.
You don't pass me, Jefferson. You take that bomb whether you stay here and die with us. Hurry, Jefferson. When that clock finishes striking 9, we all go together.
We haven't got a minute to live.
No, pick up that bomb and I'll let you pass me.
All right. I've got it. Out of my way!
And don't drop it, Jefferson, before you reach the bluff. You wouldn't get far enough away from it now to avoid being blown to bits.
I won't drop it.
Look at him, straight for the edge of that bluff.
Him gonna make it, Master.
If Captain X keeps his hand away from that switch another 10 seconds, he will.
He's reached the edge of the bluff, Mandrake.
He's raising his hands to toss. Let go of it, Jefferson!
What happened, Master?
It's all over with Jefferson. He lost his footing and went over the bluff, bomb and all.
Master, clock stopped striking.
That was close.
Oh, I'll say it was.
Even at that distance, it broke all the windows in this shack.
And how?
One thing I don't understand.
What, Master?
That second bomb hasn't exploded. The one I tried to send aboard the submarine to disable it. Dorfman said Barracuda planted it at the foot of the bluff with hundreds of pounds of high explosive. If it had gone off, it'd be a miracle if this whole bluff, shack and all, didn't tumble into the sea.
Gosh, are we lucky?
I hope so. But we'd better move out of here as fast as we can. Captain X may have timed those bombs a few minutes apart.
Stay tuned next for the Cavalcade of America.
The Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont, maker of better things for better living through chemistry. Ladies and gentlemen, here is a special announcement. Beginning next week, Monday, March 31st, our regular broadcast of the Cavalcade of America will come to you on Monday. Please consult your newspapers and radio logs for the station and local time to hear the broadcast. Among America's most brilliant authors is Herman Melville, whose novel Moby Dick has become a world classic. And we now bring you his story in Down to the Sea, an original radio drama written by Robert Tallman. Starring in the role of Herman Melville is William Johnstone of the Cavalcade Players. Our orchestra and the original musical score are under the direction of Don Voorhees. DuPont, maker of better things for better living through chemistry, presents William Johnstone as Herman Melville on the Cavalcade of America. New Bedford, Massachusetts, the year 1841. Along a busy wharf lined by sailing vessels of America's far-flung Atlantic and China trade, three citizens, a matron, a young girl, and a young man in sailors' togs, are hurriedly making their way.
Come along, Elizabeth. Come along. Yes, Mother. You must be getting there soon. What did you say the name of the ship was, Mr. Melville?
The Acushnet, ma'am. There she is now, Mrs. Shaw, just ahead.
Oh, she's beautiful, Herman. She's really beautiful. But that smell. What's that smell, Mr. Melville?
Well, you see, ma'am, she's a whaling ship. They cut up the whales on the deck to get the oil.
Don't say any more, Mr. Melville. Dear me, I can't understand why you didn't get a position somewhere. But don't you understand, Mother? He wants to see the world. Oh, I'd love to be going myself on such a beautiful ship. With blubber or whatever it is all over the deck? Tosh, child.
Hi there, you brother in blubber. You shipping with us, huh?
Who is that ruffian? Is he speaking to you, Mr. Melville?
It's our captain, ma'am. Hi, sir. Coming lively, sir.
There you
Well, Elizabeth, this is goodbye.
I'll be waiting for you, my dear. I hope you'll come back a Christian, Mr. Melville.
Goodbye, ma'am. Bye, Elizabeth.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And the lines, I say. Where's the mate? On the jump, all of you. Bring your eyes out. Hoist the topsail. Hoist the topsail.
Mate. Lad, I'm Melville. I'm new. I was wondering about stowing my kit here.
Stay in the open whilst you can, lad. It stinks below. It stinks mightily.
Oh.
Toby's my name, lad. Stick close to me at first. This your first whaling voyage?
Aye.
Then the Lord help you, lad. The Lord help you.
Eight bells there. Let me call the watch. Darlene's ahoy. 8 bells there below. Coming up. Come on, all of you.
Oh, what a night for snoozing.
Fat chance for that. Lights in the old Mogul's cabin. Did you see the bottles flying out of the porthole?
Who keep us awake, then? Melville, what's with you?
I'm hungry.
What about the rest of us? Since Lima, there hasn't been enough rations to stop a tree coat.
What do you think? There's so few of us now. The desertions in port and the others.
The dead ones?
Yes, the dead ones.
If I was 10 years younger and of sound wind, I'd pray to meet Captain Valentine Pease ashore one day.
I've sailed on rotten ships before. When you're after whales, you've got the rottenest job any seafaring man can tackle. No whaling vessel's an excursion, but this... remember the boy? He got his leg crushed last trip out.
Shorty? The little harpooner? What became of him, Toby?
Pease put him in irons for jumping the boat when he should have been in the hospital. Gangrene set in. The doctor was sick when he had a look at it.
I tell you, there's one more flogging or suicide aboard. This ship is headed for mutiny. And it won't be any gentleman's mutiny. It'll be a bloody mutiny, no mistake.
Well. So it's mutiny you blithering fools are talking now, is it? Well, come on, mutiny. Mutiny. Why, you scurvy lice couldn't run this tub from one Marquesa to the other.
In my day, I was as good a navigator as they make 'em, Captain Pease. And I ran my ship without... Well, why not call it by its name? It's murder. That's what it is.
Mr. Laughlin, you see these boots of mine? I call these my sea legs. They've spikes in the heels for rough weather. And for old fools who talk too much. Mutiny, huh?
Melville.
Toby, what is it?
Duck round here.
Yeah? What's happened?
The old fella. He died after the flogging.
Oh.
The crew's going to mutiny out of the next port.
What's the next port?
No port, a cannibal island.
Cannibals?
The ship's taboo. They won't touch us.
Oh, that's comforting.
Look, I've got a plan. When the ship puts in, some of the natives and the women swarm on board. That's our chance. We grab one of their canoes and row round the point to a little cove I know. It'll be easy to live on the island till another ship comes.
But do you know any of their lingo?
Yeah, a little. The chiefs and their families know some English from trading with the missionaries.
All right, Toby. I'm with you.
If we're caught, we'll be hanged, you know.
I'd rather be hanged than live under the heel of Captain Pease.
That's the old spirit. Oh, here comes the mate. Keep a weather eye out, sailor.
Aye, mate. That I will.
Another full moon. Oh, Melville. Wonder if we'd ever get off this island.
You don't see moons like this in New Bedford.
Oh, I guess you don't. Well, I'm walking down to the village. You and Fairway coming along?
No, you go on.
We'll see you later on.
Very well. Good night, then.
White man,
Yes, Fairway?
you are silent tonight. What are your thoughts, white man?
Oh, I was wondering. How many times have I watched the full moon rise over that mountain, just like tonight?
I have not counted the moon since you come to Taipei, white man. For I fear everyone may be the last.
Well, you can stop worrying, Fairway. I'm not going back. Not even if a ship comes tomorrow.
You do not like your own tribe across the seas, white man?
I hate it. I didn't used to. But now, since I've seen this valley and the way your people live, without wars or strife of any kind, can you imagine a people who think of even their daily lives in terms of struggle?
Struggle? I have not heard these words, white man.
Well, it means... well, just struggle. I don't know how to explain it.
Look, white man. Mr. Toby, he coming back, running.
Melville, it's happened at last.
Happened? What's happened, Toby? Speak up.
Just heard. A ship, the Julia. Captain's friendly, needs a crew. Pack your kit, Melville. We're sailing out of here in the morning.
You mean you're sailing, Toby? I'm staying here.
You're mad.
I'm packing my kit and clearing out pronto. You'd better change your mind.
You want to sail with him, don't you, white man?
Why, leave paradise of my own free will? Not me.
In Taipei, we say, he who enter paradise must first cast his heart into the abyss. That is what I did when you come among us. Now I go in search of my heart again.
But I'm not leaving, I tell you.
Do not talk any more, white man. I give you my flowers for a happy voyage. Goodbye.
But Fairway. Fairway.
Melville, it's goodbye, I guess.
She left me, Toby. She went away.
Well, Melville, she's wiser than you are.
Well, Oh. You're right, Toby. I'm going with you. Tell the master that, Julia, I'll be signing on.
Sit down, child. Stop fretting so.
Oh, Mother.
One would think you were expecting royalty instead of only Herman Melville.
Mother, do you think he'll be changed much?
Well, if it's done to his language what it did to your uncles, I shall leave the room.
Mother, come here to the window. Is that he coming up the walk?
Wait till I get my glasses.
Oh, Mother, it is.
Gracious. Black as an aborigine, too. Sit down, Elizabeth.
Oh.
Try to conceal your agitation a little. I'll answer the door. Well, Mr. Melville.
Hello, Mrs. Shaw. Where's Elizabeth?
Well, I like that.
Darling, it is you.
Elizabeth. Well, let me look at you, Elizabeth. Oh, a mighty handsome wench you brought into the world, Mrs. Shaw.
Oh, Herman, please. Tell me, Mr. Melville, have you decided to settle down and take a position somewhere?
No, ma'am. I'm writing a book. It's about some cannibals I live with in the South Seas.
Cannibals?
Yes. As a matter of fact, Harper's have already agreed to publish it.
Harper's? Publishing a book about cannibals? What's the world coming to? But you a writer, Mr. Melville.
I have in mind to write something on whaling.
Then I hope you'll say something about the quality of the whale oil we're getting nowadays. The last we got in quite smoked up my best beaded lampshade. And when you think of the prices they get...
Madam, you haven't got the price of a pint of whale oil.
What?
No. Not you nor anyone else of your kind. Because the price of a pint of whale oil is blood and agony and human lives and courage and a kind of human dignity you wouldn't understand.
Mr. Melville.
I shock you, do I? Well, maybe you'd like to hear about a boy of 17 with a gangrened leg, amputated without chloroform, so you can light your stuffy houses and complain because it's smoked up your best beaded lampshade. Maybe you'd like to hear about...
Mr. Melville, you've said quite enough. I can't remain in the room and be insulted in this manner. Good day, Mr. Melville. Come, Elizabeth. Elizabeth.
I'm not coming with you, Mother.
What's that?
I'm not coming with you. I'm going with Mr. Melville, if you'll have me.
Elizabeth! Elizabeth!
What is it, darling? What is it?
The reviews of the new book. They've just come.
Oh, what do they say?
They like it. Harper's already getting out a new edition, and he's offered me a new contract.
Oh, thank heaven. Now we can pay off a few bills. Tell me about the contract, Herman.
Well, it's not as grand as the other one. We may have to draw in a bit of sale.
But I thought you said...
Well, darling, you see, it's this way. If I wanted to go on writing South Sea stories, why, I could sell them, of course. But I want to write something bigger than an adventure story.
But we have to eat, Herman. And the children...
Well, then let's go to the farm. If worse comes to worse, I've got my health. I can work on the farm and write at night. Oh, Elizabeth, believe me. I've got to write this book. I've got to.
Well, Herman, you must do what you must do. But
But I won't say yes. I won't say no, mind you. But be careful. Do be careful.
Careful? Sailing with the wind and not a patch of foam in sight? Oh, Elizabeth, steady at the helm, girl. Steady at the helm.
Whoa there. Whoa. Good morning, Mrs. Melville.
Oh, Mr. Harper. We didn't expect you quite so soon.
Well, I thought I'd never get here over these roads. People certainly have tucked yourselves away up here.
Yes. I'm afraid we've done just that.
Your husband about?
He was over in the field there plowing. Oh, he's seen you. He's coming over the stile there. I'll leave you with him, Mr. Harper. I do wish you'd talk to him about moving back to town. His health won't stand much more of this, you know.
I'll do my best, Mrs. Melville.
Harper, have you got the proofs? Where are the proofs?
Well,
Let me see the proofs.
Give me a chance. Here.
Huh?
The first half of Moby Dick.
Oh.
And I brought you a small check. Not much, but the best I could do under the circumstances.
Moby Dick. Or the White Whale. Yeah, nice-looking title page, Mr. Harper.
I'm glad you like it.
I certainly do. And here's chapter 1. Call me Ishmael. Some years ago, never mind how long ago.
Wait a minute. Don't start reading proof this minute. Something I must talk to you about. Your wife tells me you're not in the best of health. What will another year and a half of this strain, doing manual labor all day and writing all night, what will it bring you?
The greatest satisfaction of my life, if I can finish Moby Dick.
Melville, unless you want this to be your last book, you'd better come down to New York. Turn out a few things we know we can sell, and then come back to Moby Dick.
No. No, I couldn't. I've put everything I've got into this book. Oh, look, Mr. Harper. You don't think it won't sell?
Frankly, I'm afraid it won't. It's good, but I'm afraid it will have a limited appeal. Think over what I said, Melville.
I will, Mr. Harper. But my answer won't be any different.
Well, I can't stop and persuade you now, because I'm due at the Hawthorns. Good luck anyway, and send those proofs along when you can.
All right, Mr. Harper.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, sir.
Well, Herman, what did he say?
He wants me to stop work on Moby Dick and write another South Sea book.
Will he give us an advance?
I'm not going to do it. Listen, Elizabeth. This book is like a devouring spirit inside of me that I've got to release. When it's finished, I promise you I'll go back to New York and write the other things for the rest of my life. I promise.
You made a promise to me when we were married, Herman Melville. When we had children, you made another promise. Not a spoken promise, but a promise. To look after your family to the best of your ability. Your promises don't mean anything to me anymore. Oh, it's you.
What a house. What an exemplary household, Elizabeth. Beaded lampshades. Tell me, madam, do you find they smoke less with this new coal oil than your poor mothers did with the evil oozings of the whale?
Neither I nor my daughter are amused with your attempts at humor, Mr. Melville.
I apologize. May I offer you a glass of port, ladies? Or will you take claret in the officer's mess?
Oh, Mother, will you make him stop? Really, Herman, you should be ashamed. Bringing wine into the house when your own daughter hasn't a stitch to put on her back.
No clothes. Now, that is shocking. And why? Because we're in East 26th Street on the island of Manhattan. I do believe modesty is a matter of climate.
Now, take the island of Taipei.
No, thank you. I took the island of Taipei once. For better or for worse.
That's the trouble with marrying a writer. You marry his work, too. You sailed to Taipei, and then were shipwrecked by Moby Dick. It's fate.
Fate. It's your obstinacy, you mean? I warned you against spending so much time on a book that was doomed to failure from the start. I told you...
Very well. Very well. Now tell me how to unwrite Moby Dick, and all will be well.
Well, the least you can do is try and get a position somewhere.
Position? Oh. I seem to have heard those words before somewhere. Long, long time ago. Position. Very well, Elizabeth. For once I shall take your advice. I'll get a position. A grand position. Something to make you proud of me. Something where I wear a grand uniform, maybe. I know. A customs inspector. How would you like that, Elizabeth? A brass button uniform. Your papers, please.
I thought I had them in his pocket. I must have left them in this small box. May I look, please?
Why, certainly.
Yes, I'm afraid this is rather a mess. I keep all sorts of things, my own manuscripts, baggage invoices, and a few books I'm extra fond of. I'd like to have them handy.
You're a writer?
Yes, as a matter of fact, this is my first trip to America.
I took you for a writer by the cut of your jib, lad.
I took you for a seafaring man.
I was once. Shipped on a whaler out of New Bedford. I'm afraid that was considerably before your time.
I know about whaling, though. I'm a great fancier of your great American writer, Herman Melville. You see? Here's one of the books I was telling you about, Moby Dick. Have you ever read it?
Yes. Yes, I've read it.
Oh, where the deuce? Oh, here's the blasted thing. I thought you wanted to have a look over my papers.
Oh, yes. Well, they seem to be all in order.
Oh, thank you. By the way, I'd like to have a talk with you sometime about this whaling business. Here's my card. Russell's my name. May I ask yours, sir?
Call me Ishmael.
You're Herman Melville. Oh, you're not.
I'm afraid so, lad.
But you're one of the greatest writers in the English language. What are you doing here? Why?
Hand me that book, lad. What I want to say, I've said already. And here it is. I'll read it. This august dignity that I treat of is not the dignity of kings and robes, but that abounding dignity in the arm that wields a pick or drives a spike. That democratic dignity which on all hands radiates without end from the center and circumference of all democracy. If then to meanest mariners and renegades and castaways I shall hereafter ascribe high qualities, though dark, weave around them tragic graces, if even the most mournful, perchance the most abased among them all, shall at times lift himself to the exalted mounts, if I shall touch that workman's arm with some ethereal light, if I shall spread a rainbow over his disastrous set of sun, then against all mortal critics bear me out in it, thou just spirit of equality, which has spread one royal mantle of humanity over all my kind.
Cavalcade of America thanks William Johnstone and the Cavalcade Players for their performance of Down to the Sea, the story of Herman Melville. And now DuPont brings you news of chemistry at work in our world.
When you've seen one green field, remarked Samuel Johnson, you've seen them all. Old Samuel was also the man, you may remember, who said there was nothing in the theory of matter when he stubbed his toe on a stone. The old crosspatch was wrong on both counts. The farmers' green fields are undergoing tremendous, far-reaching changes. The 7th Annual Conference of the National Farm Commercial Council meeting in Chicago is most significant at this time because it calls attention to a new stage in the evolution of the farm, the growing of raw materials for industry. The chemist has become the farmer's partner in production. No longer does he merely act as assistant, supplying the man in the field with explosives for stump removal, with fertilizers, weed killers, and insecticides. Today, farmer and chemist work hand in hand, turning crops into hundreds of things that you and I use every day. Take two ordinary farm products, corn and cotton. What do we do with corn and cotton today? Corn yields cornstarch, and from cornstarch, the chemist makes butyl alcohol. Butyl alcohol is a solvent used in fine lacquers that protect wood and metal. It goes into paper, too, into automobile finishes, even into nail polish. Cotton and wood are sources of cellulose, from which we get cellophane cellulose film, Duco finishes, pyrolin and plasticine cellulose plastics, motion picture and X-ray films, rayon yarn, cellulose sponges, tontine washable window shade material, tablecloths that can be cleaned with a damp sponge, and the Celloseal cellulose bands that seal bottles and jars. From cellulose comes the Fabricoid peroxylin-coated fabric that goes into waterproof bookbindings, ladies' handbags, upholstery, even gold and silver evening slippers. Samuel Johnson, who went by the evidence of his big toe, would have found it hard to believe that fluffy cotton could end up in a dancing slipper on a ballroom floor or in a windshield for an airplane. 4,700 years ago, the Chinese emperor Shen Nung praised a vegetable called by the Chinese the little honorable plant. We call it the soybean, and an honorable plant it is. To get the oil out of the soybeans economically, it was first necessary to find a solvent that would drink it up almost to the last drop. DuPont chemists found the solvent in trichloroethylene. How did they make trichloroethylene? Out of common salt. In other words, they had to manufacture one compound out of another in order to get still a third compound. Last year, over 156 million pounds of soybean oil went into paints and other products, thanks to the modern partnership between farmer and chemist. Wheeler McMillan, president of the National Farm Commercial Council, says, from the standpoint of national security, the clear objective of research should be the production from domestic sources of every item essential to our national welfare. The farmer and chemist together provide a potential source of self-sufficiency for America. This goal, the welfare of our country, the DuPont chemists have ever recognized as an important part of the pledge, better things for better living through chemistry.
And now, Ted Jewett of the Cavalcade Players to tell you about next week's program.
Next Monday, March 31st, the Cavalcade of America presents Paul Muni. You have seen his great characterizations in the theater and on the screen. On our broadcast next Monday, you will hear him in the role of one of the greatest actors in the history of the American theater, Edwin Booth. So that you will not miss Paul Muni's performance on the Cavalcade of America, may we again remind you that beginning next week, our broadcast comes to you on Mondays. Please consult your newspapers and radio logs for the station and time of the broadcast. Thank you.
On the Cavalcade of America, your announcer is Clayton Collier, sending best wishes from DuPont.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Stay tuned next for the Texaco Star Theater starring Fred Allen.
The Texaco Star Theater.
The more than 45,000 Texaco dealers from coast to coast welcome you to an hour of mirth and melody. With our star comedian, Fred Allen, Kenny Baker and Portland Hopper, the Texaco Round Table, the Martins and Al Goodman's Orchestra. It's Texaco time. Ladies and gentlemen, now that the weather is warmer, you folks will soon be getting outdoors to exercise and build yourselves up. We now bring you a man whose only build-up is the one I'm paid to give him every Wednesday. Yeah. And here he is, Fred Allen, in person.
Thank you, and you know why I bend way over like that, Jimmy, when I think
why,
about
Fred?
Certain people I know in this business, when they do that, their hair comes off. You see, I just want to show elderly gentlemen we mention occasionally. Well, thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And before we start, Jimmy, you should talk about build-ups. A man who has trouble trying to bash in the tops of 2 soft-boiled eggs every morning. You're telling me about building
Why,
up.
Fred, I'm in the pink of condition.
Pink of condition? Spelled with a U? You, pink of condition. You are as weak as a horse player's willpower, Jimmy. You know, someday you'll be called upon to lift something heavier than a dry martini, and you will slump over spent and exhausted.
Well, for your information, Mr. Allen, I'm 6'2" and weigh 200 pounds. Now, you put that together and you've got something.
Yes, you've got something. You can fry a lot of French fried potatoes in together.
Well, I suppose those bags under your eyes are muscles.
They certainly are. Look at those. They're hard as rocks. Why, I have heavy eyelashes, Jimmy, and I blink a lot, you see, and it's developed these biceps under my eyes. You see how they stand out there?
Oh, now,
I'm
Fred.
Charlie, the optical Charlie Atlas, they call me around. Those in the know. Well, don't forget, Jimmy, I'm a comedian. I'm not supposed to be fit. I have to stay sickly to tell jokes about my condition, you see. But you, a dashing announcer, you with that floor wax in your voice, I'd like to dance on your tongue some night with a puck. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Why, what's the matter with me?
Well, to start, look at your feet there.
All
Kubalik
right.
would pick one of those up by mistake any day.
All right, I'm a big man, so my feet are a little flat.
A little flat? Why, your arches have fallen so far that when you stand still in a high wind, you rock.
Well, who sees my feet? My boot black and a few midgets. My face is my fortune.
Face? You mean that skin that's hanging down from your hair there, from your...
Now, Fred, you know, this is getting unfair. You keep throwing cracks at me, and I don't get a chance to say anything about you. Let me get in an insult.
All right. I'm broad-minded. Go ahead, Jimmy. I can take it.
Fred, you are so weak.
And weak reminds me, it's time we turn to the latest news of the week. The Texaco News presents its highlight from the world of news. Washington, D.C. Government Weather Bureau reports that formal arrival of spring resulted in higher temperatures throughout the country. Newspapers report hundreds of calls from subscribers claiming to have seen first signs of spring in many places. At Sackbutt, Minnesota, a man called up the editor of the weekly paper and said,
"Mercury went up to 0 today. Spring is here."
At Hermit's Knob, Tennessee, a hillbilly told a friend,
"This morning I see the Major Bowes unit coming out from under a rock. Spring is here."
At Haymo, Maine, a motorist wired his wife,
"I saw a man in Maine taking off his Wilkie button today. Spring is here."
At Sand Dune, Maryland, a truckman told a filling station attendant,
"I drive a laundry wagon. I ain't picked up no heavy underwear all week.
Winter is going. Spring draws on.
And so it went. The arrival of spring was heralded everywhere, but here in New York City. The only signs of spring one sees in Manhattan are the poems that appear in the weekly magazines. Tonight, Texaco News invites several obscure poets whose works weren't quite good enough for the magazines to discuss their tributes to the newborn season. Our first unsung poet is Belvedere Sponge. You are a poet, Belvedere?
They call me Belvedere, the Bard of the Boulevard.
The Bard of the Boulevard?
Yeah, I work in a sanitation department. I'm a highway statistician.
Oh, you're a street cleaner.
Yeah, but it's only a pose. Beneath this dirty white coat beats the heart of a poet.
Well, you mean you combine street cleaning and poetry writing?
Yeah. Whilst all around me is decomposing, there I stand composing.
Have you written many poems on the job?
A goodly few. There was one, Thoughts While Passing Minsky's.
That's one of your poems. Yes.
An orchid on my shovel lay.
An orchid on my... Oh, delightful. Very good.
A do to a do bill covered with goo.
That was also one of your lesser-known works. Well, tell me, Belvedere, have you written a poem about spring?
Yeah, I'm calling it Signs Of.
Signs of?
Yeah, Signs Of.
Well, how does it go?
Signs Of. Yoicks away and tally-ho, with me broom and shovel, away I go. Pushing me can down old Broadway. Picking up this and letting that lay. In winter and summer, in sleet and snow, me and me can, away we go. Around Broadway, as I'm scooping up scum, I see the first sign that spring has come. And what is that sign the street cleaner knows that tells him spring's in a breeze that blows? Is it the sign of the equinox? No, it's just an empty good humor box. When good humor cartoons in the gutters lay, the street cleaner knows spring's here to stay.
Well, thank you.
I ain't finished yet.
Oh, you're not?
No, there's an afterlog.
Oh, an afterlog is there? Excuse me.
Adieu, Miss Dames and Gents. I'm stepping out to lunch. I hope I leave you smiling. Yours sincerely, Belvedere Sponge.
Well rendered, and thank you, Mr. Belvedere Sponge. And now, too late. He won't come back. These poets are very temperamental. And now a young debutante who has written something, I believe. And your name, Miss?
Consuelo Warburton.
Oh, you are a debutante, Consuelo?
Not quite.
Oh, you haven't come out?
Not quite.
Why not?
Well, to be brutally frank, I left finishing school unfinished.
Unfinished, were you?
Yes. It was a black mark against me. I couldn't come out.
Well, weren't your parents upset?
Mater was furious.
Really?
Pater was furious. Well, there was a scene, and I left home.
You went to the YW?
No, I'm at the plaza temporarily, roughing it.
You're roughing it at the plaza?
Yes.
Well, are you looking for work, Consuelo?
No, I'm writing poetry. Odds and ends, mostly.
Oh, odds and ends. Have you brought some poems with you tonight?
Yes, I have several tablecloths with me.
Oh, you compose on tablecloths?
Yes, I do all of my writing at the Stork Club.
Oh.
When I finish a sonnet, Sherman removes the tablecloth and it's rushed to my publisher.
I see. Well, have you written a poem about spring?
Spring is obvious.
Oh.
My inspiration is eternally the obscure.
Oh, the obscure. And what poem are you going to recite tonight?
I'd like to be an olive in the middle of the bottle.
I'd like to be an olive. Well, you go right ahead.
I'd like to be an olive in the middle of the bottle. I would be as happy as a laughing little turtle. I wouldn't ask for money. My ambitions I would throttle if I could be an olive in the middle of the bottle. Oh, what joy to be an olive. What if I ferment? Oh, while men outside all fume and fret, I'd twiddle my pimento. Free from worry, strife, and woe, I'd care not whit nor jottle if I could be an olive in the middle of the bottle.
Well, thank you very much, Consuelo. and I hope least, the gentleman who refuses to give his name.
I insist on appearing incognito.
Don't worry, we're not mentioning your name, sir.
I'm a big man downtown.
Well, something shrunk you on the way up.
The income tax did it. I settled last week.
Oh, you settled. That's brought you down a foot or two.
Yes.
Well, you are in business?
I think so. I haven't seen the evening papers.
But tell me, how did you start writing, sir?
Well, I'm in business, and there is no business. I have to have a hobby.
Oh, naturally.
I started writing poems on memos and sending them to employees around the office.
What happened?
Employees sent them back.
Well, that I can understand.
But I'm not discouraged. I'm reciting here tonight.
I was afraid of that. Well, what is your poem?
I call it Spring in Reverse.
Spring in Reverse.
Yes.
How does it go?
Spring is the season when flowers and roots peek through the earth as tiny shoots. Spring is the time when plants grow and thrive and burst through the ground, awake, alive, tulip, daisy, and buttercup, growing up and up and up. But spring is the season in my affairs when the bulls hibernate and so do the bears. Spring is the time when my world turns red, when plants and branches all are dead. Nothing is up in my part of town. Everything's going down and down and down.
What business are you in, brother?
I'm a stockbroker.
That explains everything. And thank you, Mr. Hooser. Thank you. And now we turn from spring and poetry to Kenny Baker. Kenny improves our Latin relations without resorting to diplomatic gestures. Kenny merely sings Rendezvous in Rio.
Thrill to when mandolins play. A rendezvous in Rio when my heart stood still to a sweet serenade. We dreamed that melody we breathlessly romanced to couldn't die. And it turns out to be a tune that we once danced to, you and I. Each kiss that brought us gladness was only the madness of two hearts in pawn. We vowed to love forever, then learn forever ended with the dawn. We dreamed every thrill man there'd be fulfillment. Though love slipped through our fingers, the memory still lingers of Rio rendezvous. In Rio, one night our fortunes found us, with moonlight all around us, a setting for temptation. In Rio, with music to invite us and rhythm to excite us, we took the invitation. Each kiss that brought us gladness was only the madness of two hearts in pawn. We vowed to love forever, then learn forever ended with the dawn. We dreamed every thrill man, there'd be sweet fulfillment. Though love slipped through our fingers, the memory still lingers of Rio rendezvous.
Kenny, getting back from Rio. And now it's about time for a word from Larry Elliott. Hey, Larry. Larry, get on the job. This is no time to be reading a newspaper.
Oh, I'm sorry, Fred. I just happened to see something very important in this paper here.
Don't tell me they finally answered your letter in the advice to the Lovelorn column.
No, Fred. This is important news about America's aerial training program. We're now building the greatest air force in the world. Today, almost 30,000 young Americans are learning how to fly.
Say, that is important news.
Yes, Fred, not only important to the country at large, there's also a thought there for all of us who never expect to fly a plane, but daily drive a car.
What is that, Larry?
Well, one of the first things those student pilots learn about flying is to relax. Their instructor always tells them not to grip the controls with tense hands. Relax, they tell their students, then you can really fly your plane. It's the same with driving an automobile. The smooth driver is always at ease, confident. And that confidence comes, in large measure, from the feeling of constant yet flexible power under his control. And there is where the alert, instant response of Texaco Sky Chief helps make smoother, better drivers. With Texaco Sky Chief, you've got eager, lively power underfoot, flexible power that puts you at ease, gives you a feeling of mastery over your car. It's fun to fly the highways with Sky Chief, Texaco's premium gasoline.
Al Goodman and his potluck Philharmonic have just knocked Bublicka off the hit parade. Oh, hello, Portland. I didn't see you there.
Hello, Mr. Allen.
What are you looking for? Have you lost something?
Oh, I'm looking for a broom. I have to sweep up in front of the microphone.
Well, not now, after the program. Now, if you read your contract, Clause 7 tells you when you have
but
to...
But Canini Bakerino won't appear again unless the floor is spotless.
Canini Bakerino?
Uh-huh. That's Kenny Baker's new name.
Well, if Kenny thinks changing his name is going to keep him out of the draft, you know, they have... they see through that.
That's not it, Mr. Allen.
Well, what is it?
Kenny sang with the Chicago Women's Symphony last Sunday.
Oh, he sang with the symphony and he's gone hi-hat, huh? Canini Bakerino. How do you like that? Look, he could call himself John Charles Fink. And he would still be Kenny Baker the Dope.
But Canini says he's going across the water to study.
Oh, Canini's going to Europe?
No, Staten Island.
Staten Island, the cultural center. The last time the opera played Staten Island, they took out the last 2 acts of Faust and put in Bingo, I hear.
Canini Bakerino.
Hi, folks.
All right, come out from behind that aria. We know you, Kenny.
Canini to you,
Canini Bakerino.
Canini Bakerino. That sounds like an Italian hors d'oeuvre.
That's the name I used when I sang with the Chicago Woman Symphony.
Oh, really? Did you go over well under that nom de plume?
I was a musical triumph. One critic said I was a fiasco.
Say, you know that's no small praise in Chicago. When Singing Sam sang Rigoletto in Chicago, the critics to a man were conservatively non-committal.
Kenny got a wonderful ovation, Mr. Allen.
Really?
Yeah, but those rowdy sailors in the audience spoiled it.
Sailors at a symphony concert?
Yes. When I finished my number, they yelled, "Anchor! Anchor!"
Oh, that's encore, encore.
Once, when I, Goodman, was a singing waiter in a Hungarian restaurant, at me they are yelling bis.
In Hungarian, bis means encore?
In Hungarian, bis means shut up, slob, and serve the salmon.
Well, bis, and let's get on with the program.
I refuse to go on until this stage is cleaned up.
Well, what's wrong with the stage, Canini? If it's clean enough for me to lay an egg on, it's certainly clean enough for you to sing on.
But my tails will drag in the dust.
What tails?
I'm having a full-dress suit delivered to me tonight in time for my next number.
Kenny, you are not going to make this program look like a mortician's anteroom. Walking around here with soup and fish on.
But I rented one for the Chicago Woman Symphony, and look at all the applause I got.
Well, people were applauding your voice, not your suit.
How could it be my voice? I was the same old corny tenor.
Kenny, please.
Gosh, Kenny, I can't wait to see you in a full-dress suit.
Oh, it ought to be here any minute, Porty. I bought it at the Schleep Clothing Company.
The Schleep Clothing Company?
Yeah, I got to buy for $4.98 a full-dress suit with 2 pairs of pants and a belt in the back.
A full-dress suit with a belt in the back.
And 2 pounds of mothballs.
2 pounds of mothballs thrown in. Did they fall out of the suit or did they come on the side? Well, look, Kenny, this Schleep Clothing Company sounds to me like some pushcart outfit.
Oh, it's a big clothing chain, F.A. Haven't you heard the radio program?
No.
They broadcast opposite us. They're on the air now.
They must have lots of listeners.
Never mind that, Portland. Never mind. Don't go into statistics.
I got to tune in right now. They're playing one of my records. I made a deal with them.
Oh, I'll turn on the radio.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Schleep Clothing Company presents Transcription Time, featuring Kenny Baker.
Some plug, huh, F.A.?
Kenny sings as his first number, You Walked By. Oh, you are... Men, don't be suckers. Don't miss this great closing out sale at the Schleep Clothing Company. Suits formerly priced at $140 are yours for $12.98. Woolens, flannels, herringbone, cheviots, tweeds, and worsteds. Take advantage of this great closing out sale. Be a wolf in Schleep's clothing. And now, for your musical entertainment, we return you to Kenny Baker.
What does Kenny do now? Sing a quarter note for an encore?
And now, men, while Kenny Baker prepares his encore, remember you have only until midnight tonight to act. The Schleep Clothing Company is through tonight. We're licked. Our lease is up. Also, we are bankrupt. The store is on fire right now. We're through. This is positively our last night in business. It's goodbye, Broadway. Schleep is through. Finished. Done.
Tune in again tomorrow night and every night for news of more bargains at Schleep's. And now, the Fosdick Cafeterias bring you that stirring drama of everyday life, Heartburn House.
Turn that thing off. And, Kenny, you forget about that full dress suit. Oh, what's this?
This
Come
must
in.
be my suit now.
Who's Kenny Baker?
I am.
My name is Schleep.
Oh, yes, sir.
This is Mr. Krieger, our tailor, Mr. Baker. Okay, Krieger. Neck 13. Neck 16. Waist 34. Waist 43. Sleeve.
Wait a minute. What do you guys think you're doing?
We ain't debating the land lease bill, brother. Vest 19.
Vest 7.
What is this? You say waist 43, Krieger says 34. You say vest 19, Krieger says 7.
Can I help it? Krieger don't take no orders from nobody. Hips 56.
Hips 23.
Sleeve 33.
Now,
Sleeve 56.
wait a minute. Do you mean to tell me that you can afford to make a dress suit to order for Kenny for $4.98?
Oh, well, our advertised price is $12.98. We allow Baker $8 on that old suit he's got on.
Oh.
Sure. Chest 32.
Chest 14 and a half.
Okay, Baker. Your suit will be ready in the morning.
I still don't get it. $12.98 for a tailor-made full-dress suit.
Oh, look, buddy. $12.98 is the list price. We're allowing Baker $8 for the suit he's got on. Balance $4.98. Isn't that the deal, Baker?
That's the deal.
I still don't get it.
Well, we got to get back to the plant now. Okay, Baker. Take off our suit.
Now I get it.
Hey, this is my suit.
You just traded it in to us for $8, right?
That's right. But I can't take this suit off till I get the full dress suit.
That's our suit, buddy. I'm sorry.
But I have to have that suit on when I sing my next number.
Look, I think we can settle the whole thing. Even if it does cost us money, we want you to be happy.
Fine.
Tell me, Baker, how do you like that suit you got on?
I like it fine. I've had it on for 4 years.
What does the young lady think of it?
Oh, I think it looks swell on Kenny.
Okay. Now, as you know, Baker, we allowed you $8 on that suit. Now, you give us $8 for it, and it's yours. So we don't make a penny, but we make a friend.
Oh, now, I'm not going to stand...
don't worry, F.A. I can take care of myself.
You can take care
Well,
of me.
Baker?
$7 and not a penny more.
You're a hard man, Baker. Okay, we'll take the $7.
Kenny.
It's a deal, mister. Here's your money.
Okay. Let's go, Krieger. That's Uckasay 32. Uckasay 44.
Kenny, of all the
Oh,
simple
boy, did I pull one on them.
You pulled one on them?
Yeah, didn't you get it?
Get what?
They forgot the sales tax.
Oh, that's done it. Music, maestro.
Oh, dear, what can the matter be, dear, dear? What can the matter be? Oh, dear, what can the matter be? Mary so long at the fair. Mary goes round on her merry-go-round as the music plays. She gaily shouts as she goes round about on her holiday. Cymbals ring and zing as she takes a swing and grabs at a ring. Calliope's play the day away. Each hour is one sweet song. And Mary, Mary goes round on her merry-go-round as the ponies glide. Even the grown-ups don't want to be shown up. They ride and ride. What a treat to feel the beat of the thumping drum. As Mary goes up and down and round and round and round on her merry-go-round. Cymbals ring and zing as she takes a swing and grabs at a ring. They play the day away. Each hour is one sweet song. Mary goes round on the merry-go-round as the ponies glide. Even the grown-ups don't want to be shown up. They ride and ride. What a treat to feel the beat of the thumping drum. As Mary goes up and down on a merry-go-round.
Mary goes round on her merry-go-round. And all of the Martins fans, friends in Providence, Rhode Island, are invited to hear the Martins at the Metropolitan Theater in Providence starting this coming Friday. And now...
Mr. Allen.
Wait a minute. Gentleman from Providence. Congratulations. The man from Providence. Imagine he couldn't wait until the Martins got there. He's meeting them halfway. Now, you can't do better than that.
Mr. Allen, can I borrow a pencil?
A pencil? What for? Does one of our fans want you to autograph his straitjacket?
No, it's on account of Mama.
Yeah?
If anybody says anything good tonight, she wants me to write it down and tell her when I get home.
Well, look, if your mother wants to know what's going on around here, Portland, why doesn't she just turn on her radio and listen?
Well, she can't find her radio on account of the smoke.
What smoke?
Last Christmas, Mama got mad at Santa Claus, so she plugged up the chimney of the fireplace to keep him out.
So?
So tonight, Mama forgot about the chimney and built a fire.
Yeah?
Now smoke's just pouring out of the fireplace, and the house is so full of smoke.
Your mother can't find her radio. Took a long time to get to that, didn't it? I could have done it much sooner. Well, all right. Now, here's a pencil, Portland, and here's something to write down to tell your mother. It's a brief dissertation by James Wallington on the subject of smoking fireplaces.
Smoke pouring from an open fireplace means trouble. And so does smoke puffing from the exhaust of a car. For when a car smokes, it's likely due to excessive wear that will cost a pretty penny to correct. So before the exhaust pipe marks your car as a smoker, do the wise thing this spring. Get rid of that thin, worn winter oil and make a complete change to insulated Haviland at your Texaco dealer. Insulated Haviland stands up to high engine temperatures that break down ordinary oils and endanger vital parts. Insulated Haviland is also distilled. It's free from carbon-forming impurities that clog engines and speed up wear. So change to the proper grade of oil for warm weather and steer clear of smoke and trouble by changing to insulated Haviland at your Texaco dealer. The Texaco Star Theater continues immediately after a short pause for your station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
WABC, New York.
You have just heard Rhythm is Red, White, and Blue, appropriate overture music for our Texaco Roundtable, the only roundtable in radio, ladies and gentlemen, that specializes in trivia. Our three guests from the studio audience are ready for their unrehearsed participation, and Portland formally opens the roundtable session by calling the roll.
First is Mr. Ray Marr of Flatbush, Brooklyn.
Well, good evening, Mr. Good evening, Mr. Marr.
Good evening, Mr. Allen.
You live in Flatbush, Mr. Marr?
I do, Mr. Allen.
And as a resident of Brooklyn, I imagine you're a loyal Dodger fan.
Very much.
Well, do you think the Dodgers will win the pennant this coming season?
Very, very definitely, Mr. Allen. We can't miss this year.
You can't miss this year. Well, I think that Brooklyn has a good chance, too, Mr. Marr. I tell you, with all of the ball players being drafted, I think Brooklyn is very lucky. Because with the number of old men they have playing this season, I think at the end of the year, Brooklyn will be the only club left in the league that still has 9 men left on it.
Well, I tell you, Mr. Allen, I'd like to have my son Robert write you about that and hear what he says. He's one of the younger generation, and I think you'll probably have a letter of complaint from him and a lot of youngsters in Brooklyn.
Well, I probably will, but I don't get over there very often, and when I do, I go in an armored truck. Tell me, what, do you work in Brooklyn? What is your business?
No, sir, I work in New York. That is, out of New York. I'm with the Beechnut Packing Company, and I have a special assignment at the moment. I'm
going to ask you what it is, but if you'd rather go on, you can just...
I'm waiting.
What is it you do, Mr. Ma?
I am stopped at the moment. I'm concerned particularly, Mr. Allen, at the moment with the distribution of Beechnut's newest product, Soup.
Soup?
Yes, sir.
The people who are making gum are now making in the soup business?
That's right, sir.
Well, what do? You just don't go around with loose soup. I mean,
No.
What do you do?
No, I'm concerned over in the borough of Queens, particularly as part of Greater New York, and the distribution to the various dealers.
Oh, of soup. You don't have
That's
a little
right.
man go around with you, a vice president in charge of croutons, do you?
Not yet, no, sir.
Well, thank you a lot, Mr. Marr. I was going to ask you, in a factory, a big soup factory like that, suppose you get thousands of cans of soup all packed up there, and when you get ready to label it, how do you know which soup is in what can? I mean, isn't that confusing?
Well, you have to know the man that put the soup in the can, I guess. That's
Oh,
about the only way.
The district attorney has been putting a lot of things in the can lately. That probably could help you out. Well, thanks a lot, Mr. Marr. And now, Portland?
Mrs. Pauline Kelly of Jackson Heights, New York.
Well, good evening, Mrs.
Good
Kelly.
evening, Mr. Allen.
I've always wanted to see what someone who lived in Jackson Heights looked like, and I'm very grateful to you for coming over tonight.
Well, thank you.
Tell me, what do you do for excitement over there? Jackson Heights is the Monte Carlo of Long Island, isn't it?
Yes, rather.
I couldn't locate it. My eyes are poor.
But you shouldn't forget it
tell
on
me-
account of the World's Fair.
Pardon?
We had the World's Fair over there. You
I
shouldn't
know.
forget us so easily.
Well, I know, but now that it's gone, how do you know when you're in Jackson Heights? Conceivably go through it in a moment of weakness there. But tell me, what do you do over there for excitement? Come to New York?
Yes.
Oh, that's the principal.
Yes, and since the bus strike, we haven't been to New York so much.
Oh, you haven't? Well,
It's
you've
kinda
gotten.
crippled us.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You've gotten to know Jackson Heights better, then, haven't you?
Yes.
Well, would you prefer to live in Jackson Heights, say? Would you rather live there than in Hollywood?
Well, I've never been to Hollywood.
Well, then you'll settle for
I'll
Jackson
settle for
Heights.
Jackson Heights.
Well, I think you're doing the wise thing. You know, with all the rain they've had out in Hollywood recently, they tell me that people don't have mice in their cellars anymore. They have salmon now. Well, thank you a lot for coming up, Mrs. Kelly. And now, Portland?
Master Larry Robinson of New York City.
Well, good evening, Larry.
Good evening, Mr. Allen.
How old are you, Larry?
I'm 11 years old.
11 years old. You're holding your age well, I must say. Not a gray hair up to now that I can see. Well, tell me, what is your profession? What business are you in, Larry?
Well, I'm on the radio on the stage.
Oh, radio on stage simultaneously?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you do? You do the both all at once, huh?
No.
Huh?
Well,
You do one at a time?
yes.
What? You're on the stage? What show have you been in?
A Life with Father.
Well, it's on tonight. Why aren't you down there?
Because I grew out of my clothes and
You
my
grew
part.
out of the suit and you grew out of the part, huh?
I didn't want to buy another pair of pants, so they got another boy.
Well, that's the way it is. That's the way it is in show business, Larry. They all. It's nice to know that early, so you'll be prepared now for anything in show business as you grow older. Well, that brings us to our question, and tonight we take up a minor matter that has to do with parents and their children. Psychiatrists and authorities on child education today claim that certain accepted practices are outmoded. Some educators say that children should not have homework to do after school, and the children should... Now, we know where that's coming from. That's the Brooklyn element again. We'll go over there late tonight and tear down all the schools and make them very happy. But the psychiatrists say the children should not be regimented by dancing, music, and dramatic lessons either. One authority on child behavior says that spanking a child tends to cause nervous strain and assorted complexes in later life. Now, this despite the fact that philosophers down through the years have used the old adage, spare the rod and spoil the child. So our question tonight is, do you think children should be spanked, or do you feel that lumbar chastisement is injurious to the child? Now, Mr. Marr, do you have a family, do you?
I do, Mr. Allen. I have one son.
One son. Well, tell me, how do you feel about spanking?
Well, I think that as far as sparing the rod is concerned, in the child's, let us say, the first 6 or 8 years, I think a little once over light with the rod occasionally does no harm.
Does the child no harm?
No, sir.
Well, what technique do you use? Do you prepare the child horizontally before you...
Well, it's kind of difficult. I haven't had to do a great deal in the past, and at the moment I'd be kind of fearful because he's getting kind of big, and I think...
Oh, in self-defense.
Self-defense now, yes, sir.
If you hit him from now on, it will be in self-defense.
That's right.
Well, tell me, were you spanked as a boy, Mr. Marr?
I was.
Did you find that later life you had any inhibitions or complexes resulting from that?
No, sir, I don't think so.
You didn't have any welts that lasted that long?
Not that long, no, sir.
Well, thank you. Now, Mrs. Kelly, do you have a family, may I ask?
Yes, I have.
You have how many children?
4.
4 children. You see the people... you see, there we are. Posterity's getting a reception. That could happen in radio, you know. But tell me, how do you feel about the spanking problem?
Well, I'm for it and against it. I think when the child is young, a little spanking's very good for him.
A little spanking, it helps the circulation besides bringing home your point.
And later, I think that sometimes denying the child something he wants very much has a more lasting effect upon him.
Denying the child something he wants when it's older rather than spanking it.
Yes.
Well, I guess that's right, too. I don't know. I never had anything when I was young, so they couldn't take anything away from me. And my father had no sense of direction, and he always spanked me on the back of the neck, which is a horrible position you see me in today. Well, thank you, Mrs. Kelly. Now, Larry, how do you feel about spanking?
Well, I think that if you mean to be bad and you're purposely bad, I think you should be spanked.
You think if a boy is purposely bad that he should be spanked, huh?
Yes, I'd rather be spanked than have a toy or not go to a party or a movie. I'd rather be spanked.
You'd rather be spanked and have it right over with, than to have your toys taken away or not be allowed to go to the movies or something like that.
Yes,
well, I think you've got something there, Larry. I'm sorry we haven't got time to go into this thoroughly. Well, our round table seems to stand pretty well for spanking. I personally feel that what we have accomplished here tonight is strictly a matter of opinion. I think that where spanking is concerned, children will have to grin and bear it. And when a parent puts a child on his knee, it will not be to give an imitation of Edgar Bergen. Spanking is a slap-happy device. The child takes the slap, and the parent is happy. On this percussion observation, our round table adjourns. Thank you, Mr. Marr. Thank you. And now Kenny, minus dress suit, $7, and frivolous demeanor, and no opinion on spanking, returns to sing Villa from the Merry Widow.
There dwelt on a time in a forest of sighs one Belia, a nymph with mysterious eyes. One day a young hunter encountered her there. One look and his heart he gave into her care. Velia, oh Velia, my one precious dove, pity the heart that is dying of love. Velia, oh Velia, I pray thee to rest here with thy head on my breast. Velia, oh Velia, my one precious dove, pity the heart that is dying of love. Velia, oh Velia, I pray thee to rest here with thy head on my breast. Here in my arms,
didn't know. I was doing the whole thing, ventriloquism. I was behind there singing the whole thing. You never even knew it. Well, thank you.
Pardon me, brother.
Oh, just a minute, brother. Who are you?
The name is Zero, Nero Zero, creator of cold weather comedy. I'm holding my annual spring clearance of cold weather gags. I can let you have some wild cheese.
No, I'm
Let me give you a sample. Get this one. It was so cold last winter, 3 snowmen walked out of my yard and tried to get into the house.
No.
Here's another one.
No.
It was so cold last winter, I saw an icicle wearing earmuffs. And here's another one.
Now,
it was
wait,
so cold
just
last
a minute,
winter.
just a minute. Bad enough you tell them you're enjoying them, too. You're wasting your time, Nero Zero, not to mention those prop laughs there. Now, I'm not in the market for cold weather jokes at the moment. Why, this is spring. Winter is a dead issue.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, Fred.
You wouldn't, Jimmy?
No. Winter may be passé for comedy, but it's still a vivid memory to many motorists. For any driver will admit that cold weather puts a gasoline to the severest test of any season. And again, during this recent winter, more and more motorists switched to Texaco Fire Chief. They put Fire Chief to the cold weather test, and it came through consistently with brilliant, flashing performance. They're going to stay with Fire Chief the year round, and there's a mighty good reason why. Fire Chief is the famous all-action gasoline. The slow-action duds, those sluggish, worthless elements, are out of Fire Chief. That's what gives Fire Chief its surefire starts, lively acceleration, stamina in the long run. So next time, try famous Texaco Fire Chief gasoline. There's not a dud in a tank full.
And now the Texaco Workshop Players. Tonight they present a burlesque of one of radio's most popular programs, Haven Macquarie's Marriage Club. Our version is called The Wedlock Society, or Troth and Consequences. Music.
The Wedlock Society, brought to you by the makers of
Misto, the new mystery all-purpose hair tonic.
Men, are you suffering from falling hair, the medical term for falling hair? Try the Misto 8-hour workout today. Here's all you have to do.
Slop a 2-quart jug of Misto over your balls. Rub briskly for 8 hours. If at the end of 8 hours you have not grown a 4-inch patch of new hair, return your empty Misto bottle to us. We will cheerfully refill it, resell it to you, and you can have another go at that bald spot.
Don't forget, folks, Misto, the mystery all-purpose hair tonic.
Misto grows hair.
Misto men's furniture.
Misto tastes delicious on your pancakes.
And now Misto presents the Wedlock Society.
Each week, as you know, the Wedlock Society visits a lodge in a different city, interviewing couples on the joys and heartaches of married life. Tonight, Misto brings you the Wedlock Society's lodge meeting from Nutley, New Jersey. And here is our moderator, Mr. Raven McSorry.
Thanks, brides and grooms, and welcome one and all to this meeting of the Nutley Lodge of the Wedlock Society. As we convene here tonight, let us give thanks to Cupid, who first joined our hands together in wedlock and started us down the pathway of life, ready to clip our coupons from the bonds of matrimony. Is our first loving couple ready, Ted?
Yes, Raven. Will you old folks step up to the microphone? This way.
Okay.
Right here, madam.
Folks, I wish you could see this devoted and tottering couple. Mr. and Mrs. Obadiah Kelp. Welcome, Obadiah.
Thank you, thank you.
Welcome to the Wedlock Society, Mrs. Kelp. Now, Brother Kelp, where do you and your ever-loving spouse come from?
We come from right here in Nutley.
And how long ago did you two get pelted with rice and hit on the head with old shoes? I'm speaking to your boyfriend, Mrs. Kelp.
She's deep. Don't pay her no heed.
Oh.
We've been married 37 years.
Adoring each other 37 years. Congratulations.
Shut up, Cynthia. Speaking to Daddy.
Oh!
Now tell me, Brother Kelp, how did you propose to this apple of your eye here?
Whole thing was a mistake.
Mistake?
Yeah. Well, Cynthia was always deep as a haddock. One night we was sitting in the parlor, and I start singing, "Carry me back to old Virginia."
Yeah?
Well, Cynthia being deep, first time I sung "Carry Me," she thought I said "Marry Me." And Cynthia yelled, "I will," and I was hooked. Shut up, Cynthia.
And now for our first wedlock question. A bottle of Misto, the all-purpose hair tonic, goes to Mrs. Beulah Plotnick of Pone, Georgia. for sending in the following question. And the question is, which do you think are smarter, husbands or wives? Mr. Kelp?
Husbands.
And Mrs. Kelp?
Hey!
Thank you, Mrs. Obadiah. For your brilliant answers, the makers of Misto present you 2 charter members of the Wedlock Society with these 2 crisp $5 bills and these 2 2-gallon jugs of Misto.
Cut. Thanks.
Hey!
Shut up, Cynthia.
And as you old sweethearts creep down Lover's Lane with your jugs of Misto huddled to your breasts, remember the words of Tony Warnes. Our first love and last love is the same love. That's love. And now our next turtle doves, Mr. and Mrs. Homer Swan. Good evening, lovers eternal.
Hello.
Hello. I'm feeling faint, Homer.
Now, don't get nervous, little lady.
Mine is always fainting.
How long since you 2 were welded by Cupid's blowtorch?
10 years. Seems like 50.
And how many bundles of bliss has the progeny pelican dumped down your chimney?
Well, huh?
I feel faint, Homer.
Not now, Miner. What was that question again, mister?
How many little feet patter around your floor as night falls?
Oh, hundreds. We got mice.
No, Homer,
I'm going to faint, Homer. Oh!
Your wife has fainted, Homer.
She's always fainting. My water bill last month was $42.
We've got to bring her, too. Get some water, organist.
There ain't any water, Raven.
Well, throw some Misto on her.
Okay.
Where am I?
Mr. Brotto, too, all right.
Hey, look what your Misto's done. Miner's got a full beard. She looks like General Grant.
Oh.
She's fainted again.
I'll get her out of here. Which way is the barber shop?
Before you pick up this woman you cherish, the love light of your life, Homer Swan, the makers of Misto present you with these 2 crisp new $5 bills and these 2 2-gallon jugs of Misto.
Misto? Gee, thanks.
And now...
I'll get these jugs of Misto right home. I'll be back for mine later.
As you walk down Lover's Lane in the twilight of life, brother and sister Swan, remember that Misto also comes in the handy full pint size for loving couples too weak to lift the big 2-gallon jug of Misto. Our next dearly beloved, and you perennial handholders are, you sister.
I'm Mrs. Eustace Prawn.
I'm Eustace Prawn.
I see you, Brother Prawn, are holding your wife's hand. Something tells me you've been holding her hand since your wedding day.
I have to. If I ever let go, she'll beat my brains out.
Well, before we get to your question, Mr. Prawn, let me initiate you into the Wedlock Society by presenting you with this big free 2-gallon jug of Misto.
No, thanks.
You will find that... What?
No, thanks. I don't want no Misto.
You're on a radio program and you're refusing a free sample?
You heard me. I don't want it.
But you can't refuse a free sample over the air.
Why can't I?
Why, you might start a trend. Free samples are the lifeblood of radio. If people start refusing free samples, goodwill will be destroyed. Radio is through. Take this Misto.
No.
But I tell you, you can't refuse. Do you want people mailing thousands of encyclopedias back to information, please? Do you want people to rebel and not send in their box tops? Do you want studio audiences to leave MCs with thousands of cakes of soap on their hands? This Misto here is a token of goodwill. Take it.
No.
Take this.
Hey, quit choking me, will you?
Take it easy, Raven. You'll goodwill him to death.
Okay. Now, please, Mr. Prawn, will you take this Misto?
Well, why should I?
Read him a commercial, Ted. Show him why he should.
All right, Raven. Now, Mr. Prawn, why not try a jug of Misto? Misto is the new mystery all-purpose hair tonic. Misto contains corrodium hypothecate. Misto revitalizes the scalp. If your scalp is dull and logy, if your cowlick hangs down a lifeless bang, if you have whisk broom hair, use Misto.
Well, Mr. Prawn?
I still don't want to.
This is terrible. Why?
Well, look, I got more hair now than I know what to do with.
You haven't got it with you.
No, I mean on my chest. Yeah, I have to part my chest to zip up my union suit.
But Misto also contains glue. It mends furniture.
I live in a trailer.
But Misto is delicious.
I know.
Gosh, Raven, the sponsor's coming out of the control room.
Mr. Beamers.
What's going on here, McSorry?
This man refuses to take a free sample of Misto, Mr. Beamers.
Refuses? He can't refuse. Misto will be the laughingstock of the country. If we can't give Misto away, how can we sell it? Yeah!
You see, Mr. Prawn?
I still don't want to.
Mr. Beamers, he won't take it.
He's got to take it, McSorry. If you don't make this yuck take that free sample, you're fired.
Oh, yes? Come here, Prawn.
I don't want...
I know. You don't want Misto, the hair tonic.
I got hair.
I know that. You don't want Misto, the furniture mender.
I got no furniture.
I know. You like pancakes.
Yeah.
Good. Misto tastes delicious on pancakes. Now, here's your free sample.
I only like pancakes plain.
But Misto is good for anything.
I don't like anything.
Prawn, you are the most cantankerous man I've ever seen.
What's the matter with you, Prawn?
Look, I got insomnia. I can't sleep. Misto ain't good for that.
It isn't, eh?
Hey, put down that jug, eh? What are you going to do?
I'm curing your insomnia. Take this.
No.
His eyes are closed. He's sleeping like a little baby.
Congratulations, McSorry. You found another use for Misto. It cures insomnia.
Quick, Ted, stick that free sample under Prawn's coat.
Okay.
And so, folks, as we see Brother Prawn laying here doubled up with his head resting against the microphone, with both eyes closed, dreaming of wedded happiness ahead, let us all give thanks for the great institution of marriage. Marriage is the only union today that is functioning in harmony. And so, brothers and sisters of the Wedlock Society, good night. Now, Larry Elliott sums up for the defense.
America has its timetable for the production and delivery of all the vital defense needs of our rearmament program. And when it comes to oil, a defense need second to none, everything is on schedule right up to the minute. But that's not all. The petroleum industry is prepared with supply, production, and equipment to meet every emergency, even beyond the pace of the speed-up conditions of today. Petroleum is a real defense industry.
Thank you, Larry. This is Fred Allen saying goodnight for the more than 45,000 Texaco dealers from coast to coast and inviting you to drive in anytime. Remember, you're welcome.
Columbia Broadcasting System.
Stay tuned next for the Eddie Cantor Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Harry, I just came from the income tax office, and all the celebrities were there. You know, we've only got a few days. One of the clerks gave a tax blank to Hedy Lamarr. Can you imagine? The government wants Hedy Lamarr to fill out her form. Yeah. But in all fairness, Harry, I must say that this year, everybody's only too happy to pay, even the biggest stars. Believe me.
Say, Eddie, what does a man like Clark Gable have to pay for it?
Well, if Gable makes $400,000, he has to give the government $300,000.
Well, is that good? What has he got left?
$100,000 in Carole Lombard. Is that bad?
Well, I know now why those big stars only make 2 pictures a year, because if they made a third one, the government gets the whole thing.
Yeah, listen, Harry, some of those third pictures the government won't even take. I know, I've seen seen some of those third pictures. Seen them. I made one.
Well, look, Eddie, you know so much about income tax. Maybe you'd be willing to help me with mine. Look at this blank here. I can't make head or tail of this
Well,
thing.
it's very simple, Harry. Look here. It says, see Instruction 1, Paragraph 4, Schedule B, which says taxable items are obligation of a state, territory, and political subdivision thereof, and issued under the Federal Farm Loan Act and interest accrued in excess of exemption, and anyone around my base is it. How did that get in here?
Well, let's see. It says there, see Paragraph 3, Schedule A.
Schedule A. Schedule A. It says, see Paragraph 5, Schedule B. Here it is. It says detour to Paragraph 7. Here, Harry.
Well, what does it say in Paragraph 7?
It says, won't give up, eh, buddy? Oh, there's something wrong here. Let's try this a different way, Harry. How much, for instance, did you earn last year?
Well, before I signed with you, I worked 5 weeks.
Yeah.
That's $5,000.
Yes.
Then I worked 13 weeks with you. That's $130.
Yeah. That totals $5,130. Harry, how come on your return here you only put down $1,500?
Oh, well, I'm no show-off.
Yeah, but you can't do that, Harry. You'll get in trouble if you don't put down the right amount.
Oh, well, I took care of that. Look here. Look what I wrote on the bottom of the blank.
Let's see that. Any similarity between my figures and the correct ones is purely accidental. Oh, Harry. That's no good.
Well, I'm disgusted with the whole thing anyway because they printed my total earnings in the newspaper.
Yeah, but they print the total earnings of all the celebrities on the front pages.
Oh, but mine wasn't on the front page. It was listed under embarrassing moments. Say, that reminds me, Eddie.
Yeah.
What about little baby Joe? Are we allowed to deduct $400 for him?
Oh, fine chance you'd have listing that kid as a dependent. Remember, he's worth $1 million. He's got to file a return himself. Oh, don't worry, darling. Don't worry, little Joe. I'll figure out your returns for you. Let's see. Deductions.
Deduction? Yeah. Oh, you know, it's too bad the baby can't talk, or he'd tell us what he wants taken off.
I know what he wants taken off. Remove his bib, Harry. You know, ever since word got around that little Joe is a millionaire, he's been bothered by insurance men, salesmen.
Well,
that's probably another one of them now. Come in, please.
Mr. Cantor, I'm from the Department of Internal Revenue.
Oh, you can come to my house and count the relatives. Those suits of mine are certainly not walking around by themselves. Go over and count. Go over.
Just a moment,
There's
Mr.
Leo, there's Joe.
Mr. Cantor, look. In 1935, you overpaid the government $7.50. What are you going to do about it?
Oh, well, all right. How do I get the $7.50 back?
Well, one way is to answer a few simple questions.
Yes.
How old are you?
What's another way?
All right. Now, you could get a plane and fly to Washington, then you go to the Secretary of the Treasury. He'll send you to the...
Look, keep the $7.50.
Oh, no, you don't. For 5 years I've been trailing you. For 5 years, the $7.50 of yours has been messing up the entire government account. Yes. The Treasury Department blames the Department of Interior. The Army blames the Navy blames the Labor Department. You realize if it wasn't for your $7.50, we could have balanced the budget!
Eddie, look, in all the excitement here, we forgot about little Joe.
Don't worry about little Joe. He's well taken care of since I hired that famous mammy from Gone with the Wind as his nurse. Look, Harry, there she is now in the nursery, fast asleep. Hattie McDaniel!
Mr. Cantor.
Oh, Hattie, I wish you'd stop sleeping on the job. Your snoring disturbs the baby.
It don't disturb me at all, Mr. Cantor. I admit that when I inhale, I lift the baby out of the crib. But on the exhale, I blows him right back.
Hattie, you'd better stop dreaming and get to work, will you?
Not till I settle the complaint I got. You hired me to wash the baby's clothes, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, you keep your scanties out of the wash.
You mean my shorts? Are they done already?
Yes, sir. I use that automatic iron in the kitchen.
What automatic iron? Why, that's the electric toaster.
No wonder them shorts kept popping out every 2 minutes.
Now, look, Hattie, before you go in to take care of the baby, I want you to put on a nice apron. Huh?
What kind of apron?
You know, one of those that just comes up to your waist.
With my figure, that's awful indefinite.
Patty. You ought to reduce.
Mr. Cantor, I don't weigh as much as you think.
No?
Matter of fact, I only weighs 135 pounds and some ounces.
Yeah. How many ounces?
954.
Hurry up, Patty. Will you please go in and feed the baby?
Before I go, there's one thing I want to ask you about.
What?
Mr. Humphrey Bogart left this here funny-looking thing in my room.
Yeah?
How does it work? Never mind. I found out.
Is that the phone? Hello?
Hello, Cantor. Guess who this is?
Harry. What is it? It's the mystery man who keeps calling us about the baby. Yeah, yes. What is it, please?
This is your last night with the baby.
My last?
I'm coming over there in a little while and take him away.
Take the baby? What did he say? No, please, mister. Hello. Hello, he hung up. Oh, my little Joe, Harry. I've got to do something quick. I'm going out and get the best detective that money can buy. Maybe he can get to the bottom of this case. Maybe he can get to the mystery man.
Maybe he can get me down off of this somewhere.
Look, Eddie, now you hurry back, will you? Dinah, I don't know. You don't seem to be at all concerned over our predicament here.
Oh, I am, Harry. But, gee, I got my own worries, too. I make a date for golf, and you can bet your life it rains. I try to give a party, and the guy upstairs complains. I guess I'll go through life just catching colds and missing trains. Everything happens to me. I never miss a thing. I've had the measles and the mumps, and every time I play an ace, my partner always trumps. I guess I'm just a fool who never looks before he jumps. Everything happens to me. At first my heart thought you could break this jinx for me, that love would turn the trick to end despair. But now I just can't fool this head that thinks for me. I've mortgaged all my castles in the air. I've telegraphed and phoned. I sent an airmail special, too. Your answer was goodbye, and there was even postage due. I fell in love just once, and then it had to be with you. Everything happens to me. La da da da, la da da da. Me. Everything happens to me.
Oh, Eddie, what did you find out?
Harry, I think we're finally going to get straightened out with the mystery man. I went out and I hired... I'll tell you about it later. Hello. Eddie Cantor speaking.
This is the Secretary of War. Are you going to take back that $7.50?
No. What are you going to do about it?
You'll see. Justice always triumphs.
Harry, what do you think they'll do to me?
Well, I don't know.
Come in.
Company, halt!
For $7.50 they sent the army? What is that?
Are you Eddie Cantor?
Oh, yes.
Captain Jones, 3rd Regiment, 4th Division, 5th Army Corps.
Look, I don't care if they send the Army, the Navy, and the Marines. I do not want the $7.50.
Very well, Cantor, but the next time we have a draft,
yes,
we're leaving you out.
I'm not having enough trouble with the mystery man. This had to happen to me.
Well, look, Eddie, you started to tell me that you went out and hired somebody.
I did, Harry. I hired the screen's greatest detective, Charlie Chan.
Thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Inspector Chan. Now, let's get down to business. To begin with, 5 weeks ago, I got a baby.
Darn clever, these Americans.
No, the baby's not mine. I found it in a bureau drawer.
Which drawer, please, top or bottom?
What difference does that make?
Most important. Must determine whether baby left by tall or short stork.
No, please. It couldn't have been a stork.
What make you so sure?
Because we had an argument and I don't take from him anymore. Look, Inspector Chan, we're not getting anywhere. There's a mystery man who's been threatening me, and I can't figure out who he is.
Do you have enemies? Anyone who hates you?
Oh, well, Chan, this is Eddie Cantor, the radio comedian. He has 15 million listeners.
Tough case. 15 million suspects. That laugh sounds like maybe inside job.
Why, you don't suspect Harry Von Zell?
Inspector Chan give Honorable Von Zell third degree.
No, don't do that, please. Don't let him, Eddie. Look, I'll talk. I'll tell everything. My name ain't really Harry Von Zell. In Pomona, I'm known as Pete the Punk. Sure, I robbed that bank. I knocked off that cop. I held up that train.
Harry, what are you saying?
Yeah. After the train hold up, I pulled a warehouse job. I walked into that joint, and 2 guards opened up on me. Bang, bang! Then I let them have it right back with my machine gun. And then they called the cops, and the cops came around with their sirens and everything. And I'm standing there waiting for them to come in and rush in. They give us some of their 44s. Bang, bang, bang! And I let them have it right back with my machine gun. And the 4 guys rushed in. Big Harry, I was standing there all alone.
Harry, are you confessing? Are you confessing to all those crimes?
I'm auditioning for gangbusters. Move over.
Right. All right. Look, Inspector Chan, we're not getting any place.
Please, remember, this is dark mystery.
Dark mystery?
Somebody paging me?
Inspector Chan, this is the baby's nurse, Hattie McDaniel.
Would like to have photograph of nurse for reference, please.
That's unnecessary, Mr. Chan. If you want to know what I look like, just take a picture of Sophie Tucker and gaze at the negative.
But Charlie Chan, is Hattie under suspicion?
First rule of good detective is cherchez la femme. Find the woman. Aesop say that.
Find the woman? No, that wasn't Aesop. That was Phil Harris. Inspector Chan, suppose we go on...
Hey, look, somebody threw a rock through the window.
There's a note tied to it.
It's from the mystery man. It says, Cantor, if you know what's good for you, meet me in 15 minutes at the above address. P.S. Bring with you $1,000 cash. Well, what am I going to do? I haven't got $1,000 on me.
Second note. What it say?
It says, I'll settle for $950. What now, Charlie Chan? What are we going to do?
Chan will beat Mystery Man at own game. We go to his hideout.
But what about the money he wants?
Chan advise you not to pay Mystery Man.
But if I don't, he's liable to bump me off.
If he do, Chan, get him. Justice always triumph.
Yeah, but what about me? I'll be off the air.
Justice always triumphs.
That's fine. I'll be gone and leave the government stuck with that $7.50.
We go now to House of Mystery Man.
Yeah, but we must do it without too much talk.
Yes, Aesop say best way to catch rat is to keep trap shut. Hello? Inspector Chan speaking.
This is Aesop. Blame me for one more of those broken down puns and I'll slug you.
Well, Inspector, here we are.
Yes, honorable friend. This is House of Mystery Man.
Gee, what a creepy-looking place. I'm scared.
We must have courage. I will go in first, and you follow me. On second thought, you go in first, I follow you.
No, you go in first, and I'll follow you.
But Aesop say...
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll let Aesop go in first, and we'll both follow him, huh? Now,
look, door open by itself. Who was that?
I don't know, and don't introduce me. It's the mystery man. I can't see him, but I know that laugh.
Nice of you to come here, Cantor, and thanks for bringing your friend Charlie Chan.
Chan, look, the doors are locked. We're trapped. We'll never get out of here. Oh, am I in trouble?
Aesop say... When in trouble, seek confidential loan company. No cosigners, no red tape.
All right. Maybe there's a secret passage somewhere.
Cantor observe. Another room. Perhaps Mystery Man in there.
I'll find out. Anybody in there?
Anybody in there?
An echo.
Hello in there. Hello in there. Hello.
How do you do?
The man Russian. Russian, what are you doing here?
I'm doing a little detective work.
Detective?
Did you ever hear of Bulldog Drummond?
Yes.
I'm one of his pups.
Oh, Russian, leave the detective business to someone more capable. I want you to meet a friend of mine who has headquarters in every corner of the world, who has traveled by land, by sea, by air, who has made trips to Honolulu, Mexico, and every state in America.
Hello, Cantor. This is Mrs. Roosevelt.
No, Russian. This is the great Chinese detective, Charlie Chan.
Perhaps can help solve case. You have had experience, Mr. Russian?
Experience? I'm laughing at you. Why, 20 years ago in Russia, there was a great train robbery.
Yes, what happened?
Someone stole the crown jewel.
On a train?
And then began the greatest manhunt in history.
Yes.
Within 24 hours, I solved the case.
How did you do it?
I confessed.
But, Mr. Russian, that 20 years ago. Since then, what you do?
20 years.
They should have given you life.
Not enough.
Don't give me any of that chow chan.
Chow chan?
Or I'll fix it so you can't chew your chow chum.
Oh, stop. You're no detective.
Please, Mr. Russian. What was your most baffling case as sleuth?
Well, once
Never mind. Answer the inspector.
My most baffling case, Jack, was when I found a man who had 19 bullet holes in him. Also, he had been stabbed 15 times. But his suit did not have a single scratch on it.
How could that be?
It was an inside job.
If you want to prove you're a detective, snoop around and find that mystery man for us. Well, I'm glad he's gone. Wait.
Look, something moved.
A shadow.
That ain't no shadow, boss. That's me.
Hattie, why are you in here?
I didn't plan to come in, boss. I was just waiting outside for you.
Yeah.
But while I was sitting on the curb,
yes,
a cop come up and give me a ticket for double parking.
Hattie, I'm sure if you're here, Professor Chan won't be... Where is he? Professor Chan. He's disappeared.
It's my face, Red.
Hey, we gotta do something quick. The phone.
Phone? Where?
Right here in the script.
Number, please.
Police headquarters, and hurry. Now, keep cool, Hattie.
Hello?
Hello. This is Eddie Cantor.
This is Washington. What's going to be with that $7.50?
Look. Operator.
Operator.
Get me Harry Von Zell at NBC.
Keep cool, Hattie. Keep cool.
That's my line, Rick.
Hello, Harry Von Zell speaking.
Harry, what are you doing?
Oh, Eddie, I'm just getting ready to say, ladies and gentlemen, to honor the Girl Scouts of America, our 13-year-old Olive Major sings Libiamo from the opera Traviata.
Libiamo, niente cari, che la e la fuggiva la industria popluta. Libiamo le cose fredde che suscita l'amore, poiché quella che accade onnipotente va. Libiamo, amore,
That was as fine a bit of singing as I have ever heard, dear.
Harry, how do you like that? What Von Zell said was so interesting, I forgot to ask him for help.
Eddie Cantor, look. I've got him tied up. The mystery man.
Mystery man? That's Charlie Chan. That's Charlie Chan.
Do not worry. All this part of Chan's plan.
I'll untie you. Russian. If you want to help us find the mystery man, you must realize that it's a very dangerous task.
Here is something you can use, Russian. Chinese double-barreled repeater.
Thank you. Such a lovely pipe. I think I'll smoke it.
Russian, be careful. It's not a pipe.
Don't worry. First I'm putting it in my mouth. Oh. Then I'm lighting a match. Oh. My, oh, my, what strong tobacco.
Russian, do you realize what you did? You shot a bullet in your mouth.
You know a better way to fill a cavity.
Have you done anything to find Mystery Man?
Indeed I have. And what an experience.
Yes.
I'm searching around in one of the dark rooms. Finally, I'm finding the door. I open it.
Yes.
I rush in and slam the door behind me. Suddenly, my blood is running cold. A chill goes up my spine.
What happened?
I was in the icebox.
Cantor, this place is too spooky. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Eddie's right. My advice to you is take baby and get out of town quickly. Leave Mystery Man to me.
Cantor, you're not getting out of town. You're not even getting out of this house.
Did you hear that, Harry? We've got to get out. But how? The windows are barred. The doors are locked.
Don't worry, Miss Cantor. You can follow me through them holes in the wall.
What holes?
I'll make them as I go along.
There you are, Eddie. We've been waiting for you. What happened?
Charlie Chan is taking care of the mystery man. Get the baby ready. Pack the bags, Harry.
You're right, Eddie. We got to get out of here.
Yes, but how?
We are the men who can get you out. Company, halt! Attention!
Those are the fellows who write your script.
Looks more like an Elks convention. Now listen, you writers, let's get this straight. I must have a change of pace. A new locale for the show next week. Some gay and romantic place.
How's about Reno?
Niagara Falls.
How's for Bermuda or Burma?
Boys, if it's all the same to you, I'll go back to my favorite terra firma. Wistful Vista is for Mr. and for Mrs. Fibber McGee. Harlem is dandy for Amos and Andy, but Broadway was made for me. Oh, Waukegan is intriguing. To Jack Benny, I must agree. Johnson has Olsen and Mammy has Jolson, but Broadway was made for me. Florida has Barracuda. Boston's that way about beans. Onions cry for Bermuda, but my heart is right between Brooklyn and Queens. Old Van Buren is alluring to the Barburns family tree. Maine is for Valley, Berlin, Tin Pan Alley, but Broadway was made for me. Broadway! That crazy thoroughfare. Broadway! The street with smiles to spare. Broadway! But like a millionaire, meet and speak and live and thrive and thank their stars that they're alive.
From the great lakes to the gay breaks, this is our land and it's free.
So I thank my Maker for each blessed acre, from mountain top to the sea. But Broadway was made for me. Come on, little boy, let's go to Broadway.
Stay tuned next for the West Coast version of the Texaco Star Theater.
The Texaco Star Theater. The more than 45,000 Texaco dealers from coast to coast welcome you to an hour of mirth and melody. With our star comedian, Fred Allen, Kenny Baker and Portland Hoffa, the Texaco Round Table,
The Martins and Al Goodman's Orchestra. It's Texaco time. Ladies and gentlemen, now that the weather is warmer, you folks will soon be getting outdoors to exercise and build yourselves up. We now bring you a man whose only build-up is the one I'm paid to give him every Wednesday. And here he is, Fred Allen in person.
Thank you, and say it pays to take a bow. I just found a nickel on the floor. How do you like that?
It's good for a change.
Yes, a nickel. Well, for a change, nickel is as good for a change as anything else you can think of. Where do I start? On the next page? Oh, yes. Thank you. Is this your nickel? I know that they haven't started throwing money at the actors yet. I mean, the sponsors aren't that badly off. But thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And before we start, Jimmy, yes. You should talk, really. It just occurred to me. You should talk. Oh, Graham. Before we start, you should talk about build-ups. About my build-up. A man of your ilk, your kidney, a man who has trouble trying to bash in the tops of 2 soft-boiled eggs every morning.
Why, Fred, I'm in the pink of condition.
Pink, spelled with a U, is it? Pink of condition. Jimmy, you are as weak as a horse player's willpower. Someday, that didn't get anything the first show. Well, we're not... We found out one thing. Horse players don't come to these things. We found out... Well, someday... Through a process of elimination, we'll find out gradually who comes to broadcast. But someday, Mr. Wallington, you'll be called upon to lift something heavier than a dry martini, and I guarantee you that you will slump over spent and exhausted.
Well, for your information, Mr. Allen, I'm 6'2" and I weigh 200 pounds. You put that together and you've got something.
Yes, you have got something. You can fry a lot of French fried potatoes in. You'll be getting fan mail from the Crisco people any minute now.
I suppose those bags under your eyes are muscles, huh?
Well, they certainly are. You mean these?
Those.
Why, certainly they're muscles. I have heavy eyelashes, Jimmy, and I blink a lot, you see. And I have developed these biceps under my eyes.
Oh, no.
I have. I'm very muscular about the eyes. I can look at a thing and lift it up in my glance. But don't forget, Jimmy, that I am a comedian. Listen, if I don't get word around soon, nobody'll be believing it. But I'm not supposed to be fit, Jimmy. I have to stay sickly to tell jokes about my condition. But after all, you a dashing announcer. You with that floor wax in your voice. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, what's the matter with me?
Well, to start, look at your feet. Now, Kubelik would pick either one of them up accidentally if he didn't have his glasses on.
My feet, huh? All right, I'm a big man, so my feet are a little flat.
A little flat? You are flatter than Goodman's Orchestra on a good day. Well, your arches have fallen so far, Jimmy, that when you stand still in a high wind, you rock.
Well, who sees my feet? My boot black and a few midgets. My face is my fortune.
Face? You mean that skin that's hanging down from your hair there with the glasses hooked on it?
Now, Fred, look, this is unfair. You keep throwing cracks at me, and I don't get a chance to say anything about you.
Why don't you get a writer? I've got a writer. You see, that's what you get a writer and have something to say when they laughed when I walked up to the microphone.
Well, I don't think I need a writer, really, but just let me try to get an insult in, will you?
All right. I'm broad-minded. Comes the revolution, the announcers will get a point once in a while. So go right ahead, Jimmy. I can take it.
Well, Fred, you are so weak.
And weak reminds me, it's time we turn to the latest news of the week. The Texaco News presents its highlight from the world of news. Washington, D.C. Government Weather Bureau reports that formal arrival of spring resulted in higher temperatures throughout the country. Newspapers report hundreds of calls from subscribers claiming to have seen first signs of spring in assorted places. At Sackbutt, Minnesota, a man called up the editor of the weekly paper and said,
"Mercury went up to 0 today. Spring is here."
At Hermit's Knob, Tennessee, a hillbilly told a friend,
"This morning I seen a Major Bowes unit coming out from under a rock. Spring is here."
At Haymo, Maine, a motorist wired his wife,
"I saw a man in Maine taking off his Wilkie button today. Spring is here."
At Sand Dune, Maryland, a truckman told a filling station attendant,
"I drive a laundry wagon. I ain't picked up no heavy underwear all week. Winter is going. Spring draws on."
And so it went. The arrival of spring was heralded everywhere, but here in New York City. The only signs of spring one sees in Manhattan are the poems that appear in the weekly magazines. Tonight, Texaco News invites several obscure poets whose works weren't quite good enough for the pulp magazines to discuss their tributes to the newborn season. Our first unsung poet is Belvedere Sponge. You are a poet, Belvedere.
They call me Belvedere, the Bard of the Boulevard.
The Bard of the Boulevard?
Yeah, I work in the sanitation department. Yeah, I'm a highway sanitician.
Oh, you're a street cleaner.
Yeah, but it's only a pose. Beneath this dirty white coat beats the heart of a poet.
You don't say. You mean that you managed to combine street cleaning and poetry writing?
Yeah. Whilst all around me is decomposing, there I stand composing.
I imagine it's difficult to pick you out. I mean, while you're... But, how do you know where all around you stops and you start? I mean, when you're... Well, tell me, Belvedere, have you written many poems on the job?
A goodly few. There was one, Thoughts While Passing Minsky's.
Thoughts While Passing... Yes?
An orchid on my shovel lay.
An orchid on my... Oh, remarkable. Very good.
A do to a do-bill covered with goo.
That is one of your better-known ones. I've never heard of that. Well, tell me, Belvedere, have you written a poem about spring?
Yeah, I'm calling it Signs Out.
Signs of?
Signs Out.
How does it go?
Signs Out. Yikes away and tally-ho, with me broom and shovel away I go. Pushing me can down old Broadway, picking up this and letting that lay. In winter and summer, in sleet and snow, me and me can, away we go. Around Broadway, as I'm scooping up scum, I see the first sign that spring has come. And what is that sign the street cleaner knows that tells him spring's in a breeze that blows? Is it the sign of the equinox? No, it's just an empty good humor box. When good humor cartoons in a gutters lay, the street cleaner knows spring's here to stay.
Well, thank you.
I am finished.
Oh,
There's an afterlog.
Oh, you have an afterlog,
Yeah.
have you? Oh, excuse me.
Adieu, mes dames and gents. I'm stepping out to lunch. I hope I leave you smiling. Yours sincerely, Belvedere Sponge.
Well rendered, and thank you, Belvedere Sponge. And now a young debutante who has written something, I believe. And your name, Miss?
Consuelo Warburton.
You are a debutante, Consuelo?
Not quite.
Oh, you haven't come out.
Not quite.
Well, why not?
Well, to be brutally frank, I left finishing school unfinished.
Unfinished, did you really?
It was a black mark against me. I couldn't come out.
Well, weren't your parents upset?
Mater was furious. Pater was furious. There was a scene, and I left home.
You went to the YW?
No, I'm at the plaza, temporarily roughing it.
Roughing it at the plaza, I see. Well, are you looking for work, Consuelo?
No, I'm writing poetry. Odds and ends, mostly.
Well, have you brought some poems tonight?
Yes, I have several tablecloths with me.
Oh, you compose on tablecloths, do you?
Yes, I do all of my writing at the Stork Club.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yes. As soon as I finish a sonnet, Sherman removes the tablecloth and it's rushed to my publisher.
Oh, I see. Well, have you written a poem about spring?
Spring is obvious. My inspiration is eternally the obscure.
Oh, you concentrate on the obscure. What poem are you going to recite tonight?
I'd like to be an olive in the middle of the bottle.
I'd like to be an olive in the middle of the bottle.
Yes.
Well, you go right ahead.
I'd like to be an olive in the middle of the bottle. I would be as happy as a laughing little turtle. I wouldn't ask for money. My ambitions I would throttle if I could be an olive in the middle of the bottle. Oh, what joy to be an olive. What if I ferment? Oh, while men outside all fume and fret, I'd twiddle my pimento. Free from worry, strife, and woe, I'd care not whit nor jottle if I could be an olive in the middle of the bottle.
Thank you, Consuelo Warburton. And I hope you get your wish. Last, and I hope least, a gentleman who refuses to give his name.
I insist on appearing incognito.
Well, we're not mentioning your name, sir.
I'm a big man downtown.
Well, something shrank you on the way up.
The income tax did it. I settled last week.
Oh, everyone's shorter. Everyone's settled.
Yes.
Well, you are in business?
I think so. I haven't seen the evening papers.
Well, tell me, how did you start writing poetry, sir?
I'm in business. There's no business. I have to have a hobby.
Well, naturally.
I started writing poems on memos and sending them to employees around the office.
What happened?
Employees sent them back.
Well, that I can understand.
Yes, but I'm not discouraged. I'm reciting here tonight.
I was afraid of that. I'm uncanny that way. I knew. I said, that rat, as you came in here, I said, that rat is going to recite. Well, what is your poem?
Well, I call it Spring in Reverse.
Spring in reverse? How does it go?
Spring is the season when flowers and roots peek through the earth as tiny shoots. Spring is the time when plants grow and thrive and burst through the ground, awake, alive. Tulip, daisy, and buttercup growing up, and up. But spring is the season in my affairs when the bulls hibernate and so do the bears. Spring is the time when my world turns red, when plants and branches all are dead. Nothing is up in my part of town. Everything's going down and down.
What business are you in, brother?
I'm a stockbroker.
That explains the whole thing. And thank you, Mr. Hoover. And now we turn from spring and poetry to Kenny Baker. Kenny improves our Latin relations without resorting to diplomatic gestures. Kenny merely sings Rendezvous in Rio.
Thrill to when mandolins play. A rendezvous in Rio when my heart stood still to a sweet serenade. We dreamed that melody we breathlessly romanced couldn't die. And it turns out to be a tune that we once danced to, you and I. Each kiss that brought us gladness was only that madness of two hearts in pawn. We vowed to love forever, then learn forever ended with the dawn. We dreamed every thrill man, there'd be sweet fulfillment. Oh, love slipped through our fingers, the memory still lingers of Rio rendezvous. In Rio setting for temptation. In Rio, with music to invite us and rhythm to excite us, we took the invitation. Each kiss that brought us gladness was only that madness of two hearts in fun. We vowed to love forever, then learned forever ended with a dawn. We dreamed every thrill meant there'd be sweet fulfillment. Though love slipped through our fingers, the memory still lingers of Rio rendezvous.
And now it's time for a word from Larry Elliott. Oh, well, come, Larry, get on the job. This is no time to be reading that newspaper.
Oh, I'm sorry, Fred. I just happened to see something very important in this paper here.
Well, don't tell me they finally answered your letter in the Advice to the Lovelorn column.
No, Fred, this is important news.
Really?
About America's aerial training program. We're now building the greatest air force in the world. Today, almost 30,000 young Americans are learning how to fly.
Say, that is important news.
Yes, Fred, not only important to the country at large, there's also a thought there for all of us who never expect to fly a plane, but daily drive a car.
What is that, Larry?
Well, one of the first things those student pilots learn about flying is to relax. Their instructors always tell them not to grip the controls with tense hands. Relax, they tell their students. Then you can really fly your plane. It's the same with driving an automobile. The smooth driver is always at ease, confident. And that confidence comes, in large measure, from the feeling of constant yet flexible power under his control. And there is where the alert, instant response of Texaco Sky Chief helps make smoother, better drivers. With Texaco Sky Chief, you've got eager, lively power underfoot, flexible power that puts you at ease, gives you a feeling of mastery over your car. It's fun to fly the highways with Sky Chief, Texaco's premium gasoline.
Al Goodman and his potluck Philharmonic have just knocked Bublitschka off the hit parade. Well, hello, Portland. I didn't see you come in.
Hello, Mr. Alice.
Well, what are you looking for? Have you lost something?
Oh,
there?
I'm looking for a broom. I have to sweep up in front of the microphone.
Oh, not now, after the program. If you've read your contract, Clause 7 tells you just when and where the broom is.
Canini Bakerino won't appear again unless the floor is spotless.
Canini Bakerino?
Uh-huh. That's Kenny Baker's new name.
Well, if Kenny thinks that changing his name is going to keep him out of the draft, he's silly. They have a way with fingers, they tell you, to...
That's not it, Mr. Allen.
Well, what is it?
Kenny sang with the Chicago Women's Symphony last Sunday.
Oh, gone high hat, hey? Canini Bakerino. He could call himself John Charles Fink. And he would still be Kenny Baker the Dope.
Well, Canini says he's going across the water to study.
Oh, Canini's going to Europe?
No, Staten Island.
Staten Island. The Staten Island, the old cultural center. You know, the last time the opera played Staten Island, they took out the last 2 acts of Faust and put in bingo, they tell me. Worked out very well. Who is that?
Canini Bakerino.
Hi, folks.
Now, all right. Come out from behind that aria, Kenny. We know you, Kenny.
Canini to you. Canini Bakerino.
Canini Bakerino? Well, that sounds like an Italian hors d'oeuvre.
That's the name I used when I sang with the Chicago Women's Symphony.
No kidding. How did you go over there? Did you go over
I was a musical triumph. One critic says I was a fiasco.
Well, say, in Chicago, that is no small praise, a fiasco. Do you realize that when Singing Sam sang Rigoletto in Chicago, the critics, well, that was his encore. I nearly said what. You realize that when Singing Sam sang Rigoletto in Chicago, the critics to a man were conservatively noncommittal?
And Kenny got a
Sam
wonderful...
Wait a minute. We got to get Sam back to life. Now, Sam is laid out here in the script, fellas. Gee whiz.
Kenny got a wonderful ovation at Mr. Allen.
Yeah, but those rowdy sailors in the audience spoiled it.
Sailors at a symphony concert?
Yes. When I finished my number, they yelled, "Anchor! Anchor!"
That's encore.
Once, when I, Goodman, was a singing waiter in a Hungarian restaurant, at me they are yelling, "Bis."
In Hungarian, bis means encore.
In Hungarian, "Beast" means shut up, slob, and serve the salmon.
Well, beast, and let's get on with the show then. Beast work here, we ought to get more money. Now, come on, let's put ourselves together.
No, I refuse. No, I refuse to go on until this stage is cleaned up.
What's wrong with the stage? If it's clean enough for me to lay an egg on, it's certainly clean enough for you to sing on.
But my tails will drag in the dust.
What tails?
I'm having a full dress suit delivered to me tonight in time for my next number.
Kenny, you are not going to make this program look like a mortician's anteroom. Walking around here in soup and fish. I never heard of it.
But I rented one for the Chicago Women's Symphony, and look at all the applause I got.
Oh, people were applauding your voice, not your suit.
How could it be my voice? I was the same old corny Joe.
Kenny, please.
Gosh, Kenny, I can't wait to see you in a full dress suit.
It ought to be here any minute, Porty. I bought it at Schleep's Clothing Company.
The Schleep Clothing Company?
Yeah, I got a buy. For $4.98, a full dress suit with 2 pairs of pants and a belt in the back.
Did it come with knickers, or did you get the old-fashioned suit? A full dress suit with belt in the back?
And 2 pounds of mothballs.
No kidding. On the side, a la carte, or in the suit? Well, now, look, Kenny, this Schleep Clothing Company sounds to me like some pushcart outfit.
Oh, it's a big clothing chain, F.A. Haven't you heard the radio program?
No,
they broadcast opposite us. They're on the air now.
Oh, no. They must have lots of listeners.
Never mind that, Portland. That could be true, too.
I got to tune in right now. They're playing one of my records. I made a deal with them.
I'll turn on the radio.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Schleep Clothing Company presents Transcription Time, featuring Kenny Baker.
Some plug, huh, F.A.?
Kenny sings as his first number, You walked by.
Oh, you
Men, don't be suckers. Don't miss this great closing out sale at the Sleep Clothing Company. Suits formerly priced at $140 are yours for $12.98. Woolens, flannels, herringbones, Cheviots, tweeds, and worsteds. Take advantage of this great closing out sale. Be a wolf in Sleep's clothing. And now, for your musical entertainment, we return you to Kenny Baker.
Oh, that's fine. What does he do now? Sing a quarter note for an encore?
And now, men, while Kenny Baker prepares his encore, remember you have only until midnight tonight to act. The Sleep Clothing Company is through tonight. We're licked. Our lease is up. Also, we are bankrupt. The store is on fire right now. We're through. This is positively our last night in business. It's goodbye, Broadway. Sleep is through. Finished. Done.
Tune in again tomorrow night and every night for news of more bargains at Sleep. And now, the Fosdick Cafeterias bring you that stunning drama of everyday life, Heartburn House.
Turn that thing off. And Kenny, forget about that dress suit. Come in.
Oh, this must be my suit now.
Who's Kenny Baker?
I am.
My name is Sleep.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Mr. Krieger, our tailor, Mr. Baker. Okay, Krieger. Neck 13.
Neck 16.
Waist 34.
Waist 43.
Sleep.
Now, wait a minute. What do you guys think you're doing?
We ain't debating the Lend-Lease bill, brother. Vest 19.
Vest 7.
What is this? You say waist 43, Krieger says 34. You say vest 19, Krieger says 7.
Can I help it? Krieger don't take no orders from nobody. Hips 56.
Hips 23.
Sleeve 33.
Sleeve 56.
Now, wait a minute. Do you mean to tell me that you can afford to make a suit to order for Kenny for $4.98?
Well, our advertised price is $12.98. We allow Baker $8 on that old suit he's got on.
Oh.
Sure. Chest 32.
Chest 14 and a half.
Okay, Baker, your suit will be ready in the morning.
Now, I still don't get it. $12.98 for a tailor-made full-dress suit.
Look, buddy, $12.98 is the list price. We're allowing Baker $8 for the suit he's got on. Balance $4.98. Isn't that the deal, Baker?
That's the deal.
I still don't get it.
Well, we got to get back to the plant now. Okay, Baker, take off our suit.
Now I get it.
Hey, but this is my suit.
You just traded it in to us for $8, right?
That's right. But I can't take this suit off till I get the full dress suit.
That's our suit, buddy. I'm sorry.
But I have to have a suit on when I sing my next number.
Look, I think we can settle the whole thing.
Good.
Even if it does cost us money, we want you to be happy.
Fine.
Tell me, Baker, how do you like that suit you got on?
I like it fine. I've had it for 4 years.
What does the young lady think of it?
Oh, I think it looks swell on Kenny.
Okay. Now, as you know, Baker, we allowed you $8 on that suit. Give us $8 for it and it's yours. So we don't make a penny, but we make a friend.
Well, I'm not going to stand by.
Oh, don't worry, F.A. I can take care of myself.
You can take
Well,
care.
Baker?
$7 and not a penny more.
You're a hard man, Baker. Okay, we'll take the $7.
Kenny.
The deal, mister. Here's your money.
Okay. Let's go, Krieger. That's Uckasay 32, Uckasay 44.
Kenny, of all
Oh, boy, did I put one over on them.
You put one over on them?
Yeah, didn't you get it?
Get what?
They forgot the sales tax.
Oh, that's done it. Music, maestro.
The matter be, dear, dear? What can the matter be? Oh, dear, what can the matter be? Mary so long at the fair. Mary goes round on her merry-go-round as the music plays. She gaily shouts as she goes round about on her holiday. Cymbals ring and zing as she takes a swing and grabs at a ring. Calliope's play the day away. Each hour is one sweet song. And And Mary goes round on her merry-go-round as the ponies glide. Even the grown-ups don't want to be shown up. They ride and ride. What a treat to feel the beat of the thumping drum. As Mary goes up and down and round and round and round on her merry-go-round.
Cymbals ring and zing as she takes a swing and grabs at a ring. They play the day away, each hour is one sweet song.
Mary goes round on her merry-go-round as the ponies glide. Even the grown-ups don't want to be shown up. They ride and ride. What a treat to feel the beat of the thumping drum. As Mary goes up and down on her merry-go-round.
Mary goes round on her merry-go-round.
Mr. Allen, can I borrow a pencil?
A pencil for what? Did one of our fans want you to autograph his straitjacket?
No, it's on account of Mama. If anybody says anything good tonight, she wants me to write it down and tell her when I get home.
Oh, well, look, if your mother wants to know what's going on around here, why doesn't she just turn on her radio and listen?
She can't find her radio on account of the smoke.
What smoke?
Well, last Christmas, Mama got mad at Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So she plugged up the chimney of the fireplace to keep him out.
So?
So tonight, Mama forgot about the chimney and built a fire. Now, smoke's just pouring out of the fireplace, and the house is so full of smoke.
Your mother can't find her radio. Fine, I could have told it in half the time. Well, all right. Here's a pencil, Portland, and here's something to write down to tell your mother. It's a brief dissertation by Jimmy Wallington on the subject of smoking fireplaces.
Smoke pouring from an open fireplace means trouble. And so does smoke puffing from the exhaust of a car. For when a car smokes, it's likely due to excessive wear that will cost a pretty penny to correct. So before the exhaust pipe marks your car as a smoker, do the wise thing this spring. Get rid of that thin, worn winter oil and make a complete change to insulated Haviland at your Texaco dealer. Insulated Haviland stands up to high engine temperatures that break down ordinary oils and endanger vital parts. Insulated Haviland is also distilled. It's free from carbon-forming impurities that clog engines and speed up wear. So change to the proper grade of oil for warm weather and steer clear of smoke and trouble by changing to insulated Haviland at your Texaco dealer. The Texaco Star Theater continues immediately after a short pause for your station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
You've just heard Rhythm is Red, White, and Blue, an appropriate overture for our Texaco Roundtable, the only roundtable in radio, ladies and gentlemen, that specializes 100% in trivia. Now, our three guests from the studio audience are ready for their unrehearsed participation, and Portland calls the roll. Portland,
yes,
please.
Mr. Ray Marr of Flatbush, Brooklyn.
Well, good evening, Mr. Marr.
Good evening, Mr. Allen.
You live in Flatbush, do you?
I do, sir.
And as a resident of Brooklyn, I take it that you are a loyal Dodger rooter?
Yes, sir. Very definitely, Mr.
Definitely,
Allen.
huh?
That's right.
Do you think the Dodgers will win the pennant this year in the National League?
I do. I think we'll end up winning the pennant this year.
That is the Brooklyn Immaculate Conception.
Help of Medwick, Mickey Owen, and the good Lord.
Well, he will play the outfield as usual, of course. But I think that Brooklyn has a good chance to win the pennant this year, Mr. Marr. I'll tell you why. With all of the ball players being drafted, Brooklyn is very lucky. With all of the old men they have playing, they will probably be the only team at the end of the season that still has 9 men left on it. But tell me, do you work? Do you work here in New York or in Brooklyn, Mr. Marr?
I do. I work out of New York. New York is a headquarters, Mr. Allen, and I'm special representative, so to speak, for the Beechnut Packing Company.
Beechnut? Oh, the people make the gum?
Yes, that's right. We make gum, too.
A lot of other things, too, huh?
Yes, a lot of other things. I'm particularly concerned in the distribution.
I was going to ask you that. Isn't it funny? You took the words out of my mouth, Mr. Marr. What is it you are particularly interested in?
I'm concerned particularly, Mr. Allen, in the distribution of coffee.
Oh, in coffee?
Yes, sir.
Well, do you find in your coffee selling, Mr. Marr, that carrying coffee around with your sample case bumping into your leg, do you find that it stops your foot from going to sleep, that coffee so near your...
No, it doesn't.
Well, that's very interesting, and thank you, Mr. Marr. It's always worried me. I know a man who is so coffee conscious, he used to go through on a sleeper. He'd wake up going through Coffeeville, Kansas. I mean, that man was so sensitive. And now, Portland...
Mrs.
Excuse me, you care for some gum, anyone? Oh, pardon me.
Mrs. Pauline Kelly of Jackson Heights, New York.
Well, good evening, Mrs. Kelly.
Good evening, Mr. Allen.
You, Jackson Heights, New York.
Jackson Heights.
That is the garden spot of Long Island, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, tell me, what do you do for excitement over there in Jackson Heights?
Well, I don't know as I could say, but it's a lovely place to bring up children.
It is a lovely place to bring up children, huh?
Yes.
Well, tell me, do you spend much time listening to the radio over there?
Oh, yes.
Say,
I
there's
always
one...
listen on Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
9 to 10.
So that man who's
Yes.
on for the half hour. Yes.
No.
I get that. That's right. But tell me, I was going to ask you about, have you ever, all these surveys, the popularity of these shows is based on surveys, and they're supposedly calling up all the hours of the day and night around the suburban areas here. Have you ever been called up by any of the radio surveys?
No, I haven't.
You never have. Have you ever met anyone who was called up that you know of?
No.
Well, neither have I. I think those survey people spend all of their time calling each other up. Well, thank you, Mrs. Kelly. And now, Portland?
Master Larry Robinson of New York City.
Well, good evening, Larry.
Good evening, Mr. Allen.
How old are you, Larry?
I'm 11 years old.
Larry, you're 11 years old. Aren't you tired being up this late at night?
No, I'm not.
You're not tired. I mean, Mr. Ma mentioned his coffee samples. I suppose that gave you a lift there for a second. Well, tell me, what is your profession, Larry? Are you in business?
I'm on the stage and radio.
You're on the stage and radio, too? Not at the same time.
No,
That's
at
not-
the same time.
That's not you all over, I mean, is it?
No.
Have you been in any of the New York shows, have you?
Yes, sir. I've been Life with Father.
Life with Father? Well, that's still playing. Are you in it now?
No, sir, I'm not.
You're not in it? Why?
Well, I got too big. They didn't want to get another pair of pants, so they got another boy.
Well, Larry, it just goes to show you how important actors are to producers and managers. And it should be very helpful for you to have learned it so soon. You see, they will sell an actor out for a pair of pants anytime. And now that you know that, be on your guard as you go through life carrying out the remainder of your career, which will be long and successful, I know, Larry. Well, that brings us to our question. And tonight, we take up a minor matter that has to do with parents and their children. Psychiatrists, excuse me if I drool, psychiatrists, and you watch me, Larry, and you tell me. Psychiatrists and authorities on child education today claim that certain accepted practices are outmoded. Some educators say that children should not have homework to do after school, and that children should not be regimented by dancing, music, and dramatic lessons. One authority on child behavior says that spanking a child tends to cause nervous strain and assorted complexes in later life. This, mark you, despite the fact that philosophers down through the ages have maintained spare the rod and spoil the child, I believe was the old maxim. Now, our question is tonight, we won't have time to go into all of it, our question is, do you think children should be spanked Or do you feel that lumbar chastisement is injurious to the child? Now, Mr. Marr, do you have a family? Are you the head of a family?
Yes, I am, Mr. Allen, and I have a young son, 14 years of age.
14 years old. Now, how do you feel about spanking?
Well, I think that youngsters should be given the brush, so to speak, or other spanking.
You mean not given the old brush, get them out of the place?
For the first 6 or 8 years, I think a spanking on occasion is very much in order. But after that, I think that other forms of training would take the place of using the rod.
The spanking. I mean, in other words, when they get big enough, you only hit the child in self-defense.
That's
you have something there, Mr. Marr. I'll weigh that over. We're going through the form here. I might come back if I have time to that later. Mrs. Kelly, do you have a family, may I ask?
Yes, I have. 4 children.
You have 4 children,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
How do you feel about the spanking problem?
Well, I feel that when they're young, spanking is very good for them, but when they get older, I think denying them something that they want very much has a greater effect upon them.
In other words, you think that depriving the child of something impresses it more and is more apt to result in accomplishing what you want to in the way of the child's training.
Well, I think they'll think of it longer.
They'll think of it. Yeah. The minute the spanking disappears, the physical effect of it, the whole thing's forgotten, huh? Despite the fact that it's done behind their backs, they know what's going on. Well, thank you, Mrs. Kelly. And now, Larry, our 11-year-old man who grew out of the pair of trousers in life with Father. I had the same trouble, but I grew out of with the Schuberts years ago, and I grew out of some tights, Larry. I meant to. But tell me, how do you feel about spanking?
Well, I think you should be spanked at all years of age if you're really purposely bad, if you mean to be bad.
If you mean to be bad, no matter how old the boy is, he should be spanked, huh?
Yes.
Have you been spanked much?
Yes, a few times.
A few times. You think you've deserved it, do you?
Yes, I do.
You think at the particular time you were taken over the knee that you deserved it, huh?
Yes, I'd rather be spanked than have something taken away from me or not go to movies or something.
You would. Well, that's very interesting to hear, Larry. You know, there are little boys downtown, sharp little boys, who, when their parents spank them, run out and get a lawyer and come back and sue the parents for assault. But you don't believe in that, do you?
No.
Well, I think our round table stands fairly well in accord on the spanking question. I haven't time to take the vote now on account of Mr. Marr's coffee samples. I saw where he put them, and I want to be the first one out. But I personally feel that we have accomplished here, what we have accomplished here tonight is strictly a matter of opinion. I think that where spanking is concerned, children will still have to grin and bear it. And when a parent puts a child on his knee, it will not be to give an imitation of Edgar Birkin. Spanking is sort of a slap-happy device. The child takes the slap, and the parent, for the moment, is happy. On this percussion observation, our round table adjourns. And thank you, Mr. Marr. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenny minus dress suit, $7, frivolous demeanor, and an opinion on spanking, returns to sing Velia from The Merry Widow.
Dwelt on a time in a forest of sighs one Velia, a nymph with mysterious eyes. One day a young hunter encountered there. One look and his heart he gave into her care. Oh, Velia, my one precious dove, pity the heart that is dying of love. Velia, oh, Velia, I pray thee to rest here with thy head on my breast. lost dove. Pity the heart that is dying of love. Ophelia, Ophelia, I pray thee to rest here with thy head on my breast, here in my arms.
Thank you very much.
Pardon me, brother.
Well, I beg your pardon. Who are you?
The name is Zero, Nero Zero, creator of cold weather comedy. I'm holding my annual spring clearance of cold weather gags. I can let you have some wows cheap.
No, I'm sorry.
Let me
I
give
don't.
you a sample. Now get this one. Get this one. It was so cold last winter, 3 snowmen walked out of my yard and tried to get into the house.
Please,
Here's another one. It was so cold last winter, I saw an icicle wearing earmuffs.
No, please, wait a minute.
And here's another one. It was so cold last
Just
winter.
a minute.
that
Look, you don't need anybody for these jokes. You are telling them and enjoying them. Now, what do you want to let anybody break up that combination for? Nero, Mr. Zero, you are wasting your time, not to mention the wear and tear on your larynx. I am not in the market for cold weather jokes right now. Why, this is spring, Nero. Winter is a dead issue.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, Fred.
You wouldn't, Jimmy?
Winter may be passé for comedy, but it's still a vivid memory to many motorists. For any driver will admit that cold weather puts a gasoline to the severest test of any season. And again, during this recent winter, more and more motorists switched to Texaco Fire Chief. They put Fire Chief to the cold weather test, and it came through consistently with brilliant, flashing performance. They're going to stay with Fire Chief the year round, and there's a mighty good reason why. Fire Chief is the famous all-action gasoline. The slow-action duds, those sluggish, worthless elements, are out of Fire Chief. That's what gives Fire Chief its surefire starts, lively acceleration, stamina in the long run. So next time, try famous Texaco Fire Chief gasoline. There's not a dud in a tank full.
And now the Texaco Workshop Players. Tonight they present a burlesque of one of radio's most popular programs, Haven Macquarie's Marriage Club. Our version is called the Wedlock Society, or Troth and Consequences. Music.
The Wedlock Society, brought to you by the makers of
Misto, the new mystery all-purpose hair tonic.
Men, are you suffering from falling hair, the medical term for falling hair? Try the Misto 8-hour workout today. Here's all you have to do.
Slop a 2-quart jug of Misto over your balls. Rub briskly for 8 hours. If at the end of 8 hours you have not grown a 4-inch patch of new hair, return your empty Misto bottle to us. We will cheerfully refill it, resell it to you, and you can have another go at that bald spot.
Don't forget, folks, Misto, the mystery all-purpose hair tonic.
Misto grows hair.
Misto men's furniture.
Misto tastes delicious on your pancakes.
And now Misto presents the Wedlock Society.
Each week, as you know, the Wedlock Society visits a lodge in a different city, interviewing couples on the joys and heartaches of married life. Tonight, Misto brings you the Wedlock Society's lodge meeting from Nutley, New Jersey. And here is our moderator, Mr. Raven McSorry.
Thanks, brides and grooms, and welcome one and all to this meeting of the Nutley Lodge of the Wedlock Society. As we convene here tonight, let us give thanks to Cupid, who first joined our hands together in wedlock and started us down the pathway of life, ready to clip our coupons from the bonds of matrimony. Now, is our first loving couple ready?
Yes, Raven,
Ben?
will you old folks step up to the microphone? This way.
Okay.
Right here, madam.
Folks, I wish you could see this devoted and tottering old couple, Mr. and Mrs. Obadiah Kelp. Welcome, Obadiah.
Thank you, thank you.
Welcome to the Wedlock Society, Mrs. Kelp.
Hey?
Now, Brother Kelp, Where do you and your ever-loving spouse come from?
We come from right here in Nutley.
And how long ago did you two get pelted with rice and hit on the head with old shoes? I'm speaking to your boyfriend, Mrs. Kelp.
She's deep. Don't pay her no heed.
Oh.
We've been married 37 years.
Adoring each other 37 years. Congratulations.
Shut up, Cynthia. Speaking of Daddy.
Oh!
Now tell me, Brother Kelp. How did you propose to this apple of your eye here?
Whole thing was a mistake.
Mistake?
Well, Cynthia was always deep as a haddock. One night we were sitting in the parlor. I start singing Carry Me Back to Old Virginia.
Yeah?
Well, Cynthia being deep, first time I sung Carry Me, she thought I said marry me. Well, Cynthia yelled, I will, and I was hooked. Shut up, Cynthia.
And now for our first mighty interesting, Mr. Kelp. And now for our first wedlock question. A bottle of Misto, the all-purpose hair tonic, goes to Mrs. Beulah Plotnick of Pone, Georgia, for sending in the following question. And the question is, which do you think are smarter, husbands or wives? Mr. Kelp?
Husbands.
And Mrs. Kelp? Thank you, Mrs. Obadiah Kelp. For your brilliant answers, the makers of Misto present you two charter members of the Wedlock Society with these two crisp $5 bills and these two 2-gallon jugs of Misto.
Gosh, thanks. Shut up, Cynthia.
And as you old sweethearts creep down Lover's Lane with your jugs of Misto tightly clutched to your breasts, remember the words of Tony Wands. Our first love and our last love is the same love. That's love. Now, our next turtle lovers, Mr. and Mrs. Homer Swan. Good evening, lovers eternal.
Hello. I'm feeling faint, Homer.
Now, don't get nervous, little lady.
Mine is always fainting.
Now, how long since you two were welded by Cupid's blowtorch?
10 years. Seems like 50.
And how many bundles of bliss has the progeny pigeon dumped down your chimney?
Huh?
I feel faint, Homer.
Not now, Miner. What was that question again, mister?
How many little feet patter around your floor as night falls?
Oh, hundreds. We got mice.
No, Homer.
I'm going to faint, Homer. Oh!
Your wife has fainted, Homer.
She's always fainting. My water bill last month was $42.
Well, we've got to bring her, too. Get some water, organist.
There isn't any water, Raven.
Well, throw some Misto on her.
Okay.
Where am I?
Misto brought her, too, all right.
Hey, look what your Misto's done. Mine has got a full beard. She looks like General Grant.
Oh!
She's fainted again.
I'll get her out of here. Which way is the barber shop?
Before you pick up this woman you cherish, the love light of your life, Homer Swan, the makers of Misto present you with these two crisp new $5 bills and these 2-gallon jugs of Misto.
Misto, thanks.
And now...
I'll get these jugs of Misto right home. I'll be back for Miner later.
And as you walk down Lover's Lane in the twilight of life, brother and sister Swan, remember that Misto also comes in the handy full pint size for loving couples too weak to lift the big 2-gallon jug of Misto. Our next dearly beloved and you perennial handholders are, you, sister.
I'm Mrs. Eustace Prawn.
Yeah, I'm Eustace Prawn.
I see you, Brother Prawn, are holding your wife's hand. Something tells me you've been holding her hand since your wedding day.
I have to. If I ever let go, she'll beat my brains out.
Well, before we get to your question, Mr. Prawn, let me initiate you into the Wedlock Society by presenting you with this big free 2-gallon jug of Misto.
And no thanks.
You will find that... What?
No thanks. I don't want no Misto.
You're on a radio program and you're refusing a free sample?
You heard me. I don't want it.
Well, you can't refuse a free sample over the air.
Why can't I?
Why, you might start a trend. Free samples are the lifeblood of radio. If people start refusing free samples, goodwill will be destroyed. Radio is through. Take this Misto.
No.
But I tell you, you can't refuse. Do you want people mailing thousands of Encyclopedia Britannicas back to information, please?
No, I just...
Do you want people to rebel and not send in their box tops or reasonable facsimiles? Do you want studio audiences to leave MCs with thousands of cakes of soap on their hands?
I just...
This misto here is a token of goodwill. Take it.
No.
Take this.
Quit choking me.
Hey, take it easy, Raven. You'll goodwill him to death.
Okay. Now, please, Mr. Prawn, will you take this misto?
Why should I?
Now, read him a commercial, Ted. Show him why he should.
All right, Raven. Now, Mr. Prawn, why not try a jug of misto? Misto is the new mystery all-purpose hair tonic.
Oh.
Misto contains corrodium hypothecate.
Oh, is that so?
Misto revitalizes the scalp.
Oh.
If your scalp is dull and logy, if your cowlick hangs down a lifeless bag, if you have whisk broom hair, use Misto.
Well, Mr. Prawn?
I still don't want it.
This is terrible. Why?
I got more hair now than I know what to do with.
You haven't got it with you.
No, I mean on my chest.
Oh.
I have to part my chest to zip up my union suit.
But Misto also contains glue. It mends furniture.
I live in a trailer.
But Misto is delicious.
Gosh, Raven, the sponsor's coming out of the control room.
Mr. Bemis?
What's going on here, McSorry?
This man refuses to take a free sample of Misto, Mr. Bemis.
Refuses? He can't refuse. Misto will be the laughing stock of the country. If we can't give Misto away, how can we sell it? Yeah!
You see, Mr. Prawn?
I still don't want it.
See, Mr. Bemis, he still doesn't want it.
Well, he's got to take it. But sorry, if you don't make this yuck take that free sample, you're fired.
Oh, yes? Come here, Prawn.
Look, I don't want...
Look, you don't want Misto, the hair tonic.
I got hair.
Yeah, all right. You don't want Misto, the furniture mender.
I got no furniture.
All right. Look, do you like pancakes?
Yeah.
Good. Misto tastes delicious on pancakes. Now, here's your free sample.
I only like pancakes plain.
But Misto is good for anything.
I don't like anything.
Prawn, you are the most cantankerous man I've ever seen.
What's the matter with you, Prawn?
Look, I got insomnia. I can't sleep. Misto ain't good for that, is it?
It isn't, hey?
Hey, put down that jug. Hey, what are you going to do?
I'm curing your insomnia. Take this. His eyes closed. He's sleeping like a little baby.
Congratulations, McSorry. You found another use for Misto. It cures insomnia.
Quick, Ted, stick that free sample under Prawn's coat.
Okay.
Oh.
And so, folks, as we see Brother Prawn lying here, doubled up with his head resting against the microphone, we thought he was asleep, but he wasn't, with both eyes closed, merely dreaming of wedded happiness ahead. Let us all give thanks for the great institution of marriage. Marriage is the only union today that is functioning in harmony. And so, brothers and sisters of the Wedlock Society, good night. And now, Larry Elliott sums up for the defense.
America has its timetable for the production and delivery of all the vital defense needs of our rearmament program. And when it comes to oil, a defense need second to none, everything is on schedule right up to the minute. But that's not all. The petroleum industry is prepared with supply, production, and equipment to meet every emergency, even beyond the pace of the speed-up conditions of today. Petroleum is a real defense industry.
Thank you, Larry. This is Fred Allen saying good night for the more than 45,000 Texaco dealers from coast to coast. We'll see you next Wednesday. Good night.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Well, that's the way it was on March 26, 1941, Wednesday, March 26, 1941. I'm Henry Chap, your host. Come back again tomorrow when we spotlight Thursday, March 27th, 1941, and I will tell you what we're going to listen to in just a little bit. If you enjoy the content on this channel, not only subscribe, but please donate to its upkeep. Because of the vintage old-time radio, films, and music that we feature, this channel does not qualify for YouTube monetization. Help motivate us to keep posting this wonderful content and seeking out more. We'd like to think that this channel is more interesting than any other nostalgia channel of a similar type. Help us keep going by donating. In the description section of this video, you will find a secure link to PayPal. Any little bit helps. Thank you for your support. If you love old-time radio, film, and music, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click on the bell icon to get notifications as to when a new upload will premiere. If you are interested in World War II as much as I am, check out our other channel, the World War II newspaper channel. Expand the description section to this video and you will see a link that will take you there. Now I'd suggest listening to the latest upload to decide if it's your thing. Over there, you will hear the Chicago Tribune read to you for between 90 minutes to 2 hours. You will get a much more detailed look about what it was like to actually live through World War II than I can give you just by sharing radio broadcasts. You will not only hear detailed news of the big battles and historical events, you will hear trivial facts about the war. You will hear news from the United States home front from the early stages of U.S. mobilization and war protests to Pearl Harbor and the ramping up of the war machine to the final victories and reconversion. You will hear every facet of American life change forever. Come back again tomorrow night when we spotlight March 27th, 1941, a Thursday, because tomorrow night is a Thursday, right? And we are going to have Vic and Sade, that daytime comedy show. We are going to have a 10-minute excerpt from the Baby Snooks program. I have a whole bunch of these excerpts, but I do not have the complete shows of the Baby Snooks show. In fact, I was reluctant to share these with you. I could have shared a whole bunch from past Thursdays, but I decided against it because I like to share complete shows. But you know what? Baby Snooks is too good to pass up, and Thursdays lately has been kind of a dry day as far as vintage radio goes. We just haven't had a lot on Thursdays for the most part, so I decided to add those back in on our Thursday listening. So we have the Baby Snooks show, and then we have the Rudy Valley Seal Test show, and his guest tomorrow night, you're going to love this, Groucho Marx. So that ought to be a really, really funny show. I hope you are going to come back tomorrow night and give it a listen. Stick around with us. All right, until then, I'm Henry Chop, your host. Let's turn off this old tube radio. That's our time machine. Good night. God bless.
This changing world, this changing scene, where is it taking us? What does it mean? As long as we're certain of each other, we know we don't have to be afraid. These changing times we rise above. We have no time for them. We have our love, and love is the only thing that still remains the same through all this change.